Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. And we want to say a very big thank you for sharing with us this evening of yours. Today, we are talking politics, and we want to welcome you to this special edition of our program. I am Ansony Sieh. We have in the house Mr. Dennis Jah. We also have Flomo, who is in conversation with Focus on Liberia for a possible partnership. And in the house also we have Mr. Wilmot Kunney. Mr. Kunney is an analyst here at Focus on Liberia, and for your information, he is a political analyst. So when we are talking politics, he is comfortably seated. I am, the floor is, and we want you to do all a favor. Hit that share button because the package we have for you, you don't have a price for it. So we are charging you free. Let me show that to you. We will be discussing political figures' death and the politics of it. Many of you have been following the politics. May her soul rest in peace. Mna is gone. We lost Jed Law. Politics came about. Councillor Brodsky some time ago died. Politics came about. And then we'll be also looking at the Unity Party and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf recent meeting. During that meeting, there was a question asked by journalists. Many people are talking about it. We want to go into the depth. And again, don't forget our protocol analyst is here to analyze that situation. Is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf still relevant? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf just landed another high-profile international job. What is going on with this, madam? Is she the one to give the CPP that protocol victory? Hey, don't take my word for it. The second last segment is the CPP and the CDC chances in 2023 and all that of juicy things along the line that we got packaged for you. But I'm turning it over to my friend here, Mr. Dennis Jah. Mr. Jah.
I want to welcome you all on Focus on Liberia. This is a special edition where we're going to be discussing politics. And I don't know, we say these political figures, they are deaf, and they have been, I don't know, I want to call that politics, but there have been a lot of talk. We want to welcome our analyst, Mr. Wilmot Kunney. Mr. Kunney, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis.
And also, regarding the death of these political figures, somebody who has not been quiet about it is Mr. Flomo. Mr. Flomo, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
It's a good day to be with you guys again.
And we want to welcome all of our viewers across the globe. We want to have this conversation, something to talk about. First of all, how you guys feeling? It's still COVID-19. We are still in lockdown and some form of it, wearing masks, the protocols and everything. How you doing, Mr. Kunney, right there in Philadelphia?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Philadelphia is holding steady, so we hope to face that declining curve and get out of this situation the best way possible.
D-Flo, besides the COVID-19, we have the George Floyd situation right there in Minneapolis. How are you guys doing now?
We are doing, by far that I know, we are doing okay. The state is progressing. We are moving ahead because, again, we are a democratic state. So we hope fast to, our leaders are doing great and our government is doing extremely well and all is well from my end.
Thank you. Mr. Sieh, here is the thing. Some time ago, we have Councillor Brodsky who passed away, the political leader of the Liberty Party. Quite recently, I still find it very difficult to mention my man, my brother and friend, Jay Law, among people that have passed. But he also passed away, and there were a whole lot of talk. We see that when these political figures pass away, there is something that amounts to rejoicing on one side based on the political divide, or there will be some form of taunting by people who did not like or agree with the politics of that person. And this has been happening on both sides. We saw that during the passing of Councillor Charles Walker Bromskin. We saw that during the passing of Honorable Jay Law. Now we still heard that, and we are still hearing people are actually taunting her and say, "Hey, get up!" Of Honorable Muna Pelon Youngblood and other political figures that have passed. Is it a politics of hate? Is it, these people are celebrity and so they have to be discussed? One person who discussed Molan Penlo is right here with us, and that's D Flow. We'll get to it. So let's start this. What's going on? And let me start with my own man, my co-host, Mr. Ansony Sieh. What's the deal with when people pass away, instead of everybody mourning, there are some political battles that have been fought? What's going on with Liberian people?
Well, Mr. Jah, the simple answer is because we are developed politically. And my frustration has always been that being divided politically on the issue should have a limit. But that divide seems to not have any limit whatsoever, and that is my frustration. I can only hope that we Liberians will come to a point to know that there is a limit for every issue, politically speaking. The death of Muna, you talk about Councillor Bronsky and our own friend Jename Slaw, are just few examples that we are aware of. When somebody dies, we know that it's a mourning time for that person, family, and loved ones. And so, whatever mistakes they might have made in life, whatever they might have said in life, I don't think that is the appropriate time to highlight that when their family members are in the period of mourning for them. But politics tend to get the most part of many of us, and we see that as an opportunity to score a political point. From my following of politics, I think it's sad, and we need to be better than that. And if we continue on this path, I don't see how we get to that compromise that we need as a people to build political consensus that will lead our politics to a level where it can be productive. Because at the end of the day, we have to work together to build Liberia. But the way we're trending, I mean, even to the level of someone's death, is just depressing, Mr. Jah.
And one person who also has something to say when one political leader or political figure passed away is Mr. D. Flomo. Mr. Flomo, before we get to the specifics of what you said, we want you to just give us your viewpoint on what's going on with this. People are throwing jabs, people are saying all kinds of things anytime this political figure passes away. What's your sense of it? And how did you get all in the middle of it?
Thanks for that question. Again, welcome to fellow Librarians at home and also in the diaspora. It's my honor to be with you guys again in studio here. Going back to local Liberia from my perspective as a broadcaster, I think the Liberian people missed the mark when it comes to this President George Okonwe. Excuse me. When the leader of the country gets up in the morning, excited, he comes down and facing the microphone right off the bat and begin to talk about enemy of the state, pointing his fingers at others who just disagree with him on national issues, not on personal issues. This is troubling for me. And for me as a broadcaster, I see this as very, very a divisive country. This country is divided beyond my imagination.
And you are saying people are talking bad about the dead because the country is divided and President Weah is one of those who caused it? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to draft out. But I made an opening for you to ask me a question. When you see, going back to look at what citizens have been about and what they're about as a party, the party that I supported, and a few months later, I walk away from that. I left for a lot of reasons. I don't believe in people coming out to divide a nation. A nation must be focused. The people, the leader of the nation, will work tirelessly to make sure that everyone is enlightened irrespective of our political differences. That leader must fight hard to unite the country. But when you look at some of the things that my brothers and sisters in the CDC have done over the years, look at the death of Councillor Charles Walker Bronsky. Councillor Walker Bronsky was on his dying bed. Citizen celebrator on Facebook. Citizen celebrator on Facebook. They also had in-house celebration where they had a celebration at one of their leaders' home in Liberia, celebrated the death of another man while this man was still on his dying bed. Musfaru, Abel Lawrence died became up only because he was a member of the opposition bloc. The recent celebrated that. So this nation is divided. The president has divided this nation. And for me, as a person, I love the debate. They have threatened my life. I love this debate because you know why? I am not absent. I put myself in politics. I love the debate.
Thank you. And we'll come to the specifics. And thank you for mentioning Honorable Adolph Lawrence. We have one of our Facebook viewers, D. Adolfo Zor, mentioned that. Say you guys forgot one person. So yes, added to the list is the late Representative Adolph Lawrence. Also, when he passed away in a tragic motor accident, there were people rejoicing on the opposite political aisle of Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Kunney, what's your sense of what's going on when it comes to people are celebrating when somebody passes away because they are at odds politically? Sometimes you find people actually taunting the dead who cannot wake up and defend themselves. What's going on, Liberia? Mr. Kunney, you have watched politics longer than I do. Tell me your sense of it, when you think it started, or if this is something that is historical to Liberians.
Well, Dennis, thank you for that question. First of all, I would like to offer my sincere condolences and sympathies to the families of all of the individuals that you've listed. I pray that their soul will rest in perfect peace. With regard to the question that you posed, I feel that absolutely there should be no place in our politics for the celebration of the death of any Liberian on the basis of political differences. That is completely distasteful. People can criticize the policies of politicians in whatever way, but it cannot be a celebration at the death of an individual, a death of a human being. So I don't know, maybe it is the politics of now, but I can recall in Liberian history where a politician died a normal death or an accidental death, and people were celebrating the death of that politician. I mean, I hear in other countries, maybe if it is a dictatorship and other situations like that, but this kind of death we're talking about, a representative that is coming from a birthday party, going home, involved in accident, a representative that been combating series of illness pass away, a political leader that has been battling series of illness pass away, and people are rejoicing on account of political differences. That is completely out of the human realm. And before we go further, I just want to say to people who hold these views, you know, the English poet John Donne, he had a quote. He says that no man is an island entirely of itself. Every man is a part of the continent. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sent to know for whom the bells toll. It tolls for thee. And we got to be reminded, you know, we got to remind ourselves of this wise saying. You could celebrate today because someone that hold a different political view died, but who controls death? Who controls death? It is one of the most senseless things that I've seen in our country, that people are celebrating because somebody hold a different view. I just want to disagree a little bit with my brother D Flo, because he put the divisiveness at the foot of the president. Look, in a country where there are different political parties, obviously there will be division. There will be division. People have different views. They will be divided. But in all of these instances that you've mentioned, I've seen the president taking leadership and behaving as the leader of the country. I have not seen the president of the Republic of Liberia rejoice on the death of any of his political opponents. On the contrary, I have seen him in deep sympathy with the family, comforting the family. So, but this whole idea, then it got to stop.
Yeah.
You know, it got to stop. It's not necessary. And it would take political leaders to demonstrate that. And I think the president has largely demonstrated that kind of compassion, that kind of humanity.
Thank you. Mr. Sieh, let's get into the issue of D-Flow. Because D-Flow is one person who, when on the late Representative Monan Pelham Youngblood died, made a statement, and there was backlash that he received. Let's go into that and let's hear D-Flow side of the story. First, give us a bird's eye view of that incident, how it all unfolded.
Well, from my recollection, the news of Monan sadly reached to our doorsteps, and people, as we all normally do, in this day and age of the digital world, started posting on Facebook because we all have friends and there are other figures that many people follow. D-Flow, like some other people who runs a talk show, the Liberian Designated Debaters, who some Liberians follow, made a decision to share that news on his Facebook page so that others who are not aware will get to know. But D-Flow did it in a fashion that many people have a serious problem with, and he made reference to Muna as the cat, and
All
on the
right.
basis that Muna has some time back.
He's here to see why he called Mona the cat.
Okay, but so leaving that out for D-Flow to bring it up. So
Right.
D-Flow, like any other person,
I'm right here.
D-Flow, like any other person, make a Facebook post to share this news with his followers so they can know that we have lost somebody of political significance in our ballot politics. But the faction in which he did it, well, he's here to tell his story and defend himself. But that's what happened. But that post, many people have serious problem with it. And most of those people that I know that came out verbally that we got to know are people who support the government. Like Class D, he has problem with it. And, many people have issue with it. I read the post. I went to the comments. I saw many people that commented, and there was a back and forth on it. So D-Flow is here. He post generated controversy. So maybe he can speak to that.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for let me just set the record straight. After all of the years, my years behind the microphone, I have never tried to be a divisive a talk show host. But there's something about me that tells me that certain people, when they do something, it looks to me like they don't catch themselves. They want to throw blame at other people because they think that, oh, they are exempted from something when they do it wrong. But to the issue, I don't know Musa, the late District Number 9 representative personally, but I spoke to her somewhere around, I think 2014, when she came to the United States. I was trying to solicit her coming to the show. So we spoke, and then she said, I'm not going to tell you what was the conversation was about. So I did not know her personally. But what happened when she got sick, what I did as a broadcaster, I decided to put somebody around there just for me to be the one to catch the news first when it comes up. So when she went to Ghana, for her last tour there, we pay more attention to her to see what was happening in Ghana and her hospital bill and what have you. So one of my sources, as soon as she died in Ghana, the person called me and said, "Hey, D-Flow, the woman is dead." So I was in the traffic when I got the news. So my thing is that, okay, what should I come out to do here? See, these things are quick to come after me to say, D-Flow, you can't spell. you are incompetent, because I called their president Mr. Incompetent, so they call me Mr. Incompetent. Great, bring it on. So I said, okay, but she's known for second a name now. She got a nickname, right? So CAT is something I learned in elementary. So I said, I'll use the word CAT. So I went on my page and said, breaking news. See, these here were caught off guard. They didn't know that the Ebola has passed in Ghana. And I went on my page and said, breaking news, the cat is dead. It was not out of hate. It was not out of antipathy. It was not out of politics. It was just the word that came out of my mind. It was just something that I tried. I said, you know why? I don't have the time to go and say, how do you spell Muna Penu? How do you spell Muna Penu? I didn't want to do that. So I look at the word and say, well, I can go with the word, the cat is dead. So what have I done wrong here? There's a video out there. The woman referred to herself as the cat.
Okay.
It was nowhere to denigrate or look condescending towards the dead. It was all something that just came off my head, and I said I can use it because it is something that everybody knows. So there's nothing here.
You are saying you couldn't spell Muna Penu, so you could spell the cat. That's why you use it.
Yes, because I didn't want to make a mistake. People were going to stay ask me, who is this? Because the word Penu, I know how to spell Muna, but I don't know. I didn't want to use the. I'm like, okay, I can't use the word Muna without using Penu, because I don't know how to spell Penu. I don't. I'm not familiar with a lot of names. I'm not familiar with a lot of spelling. So the word that came out of my mouth was that this would be the best word to go with. So I chose the word, and I went with the word, the cat is dead. And I said, rest in peace. I did not say it was good that this one is gone. I did not use any kind of statement to look condescending. But I'm not sure what is hurting these people, though. You're celebrating the death of Abel Lawrence. Excuse me.
Hold on, D-Flow.
D-Flow, I have a question for you. D-Flow, I have a question for you. Hold on, guys. D-Flow, you have been in broadcasting. You continue to boast for 10 years, and if not, counting applause. And so you have been practicing journalism to a greater extent. Muna, we're talking about, it's in the newspaper. Technology made it easy now. You go on Google, you type Muna name will pop, or the spelling will be there. Articles that carry her stories, front page, and many other articles, you will see her name. So I'm saying this to ask the question. I think you are justifying here why you chose to use the word cat instead, because if your argument is that you didn't want for you to misspell her name, you could have done yourself a favor by checking Google her name, and it will pop up. I guarantee you. You could have done that. So you are just justifying here, isn't it?
That's a perfect argument. That's a great argument. But you got to understand this, right? We are in a digital world. Digital world. So when you get a breaking news and everybody is chasing something, somebody wants to be the first person to broadcast something, or for the person to put this thing, you can't waste time. Your instinct is, I want to catch the whole of this thing. I have the whole of this thing. The more time I take, another person who is looking for the news will likely come out and publish this. Then what becomes? You become a third person. But we already saw
it will not take you more than 2 minutes to research Munani. Hold on, Kunney, to research Munani. And besides, she has a Facebook page. You said you talked to her before. You know Munani is on Facebook. Just by tapping her name, listen, just by tapping her name on Facebook, even if you're not friends with her, it will pop up and you will get a spelling. So I think you are giving a very big excuse here, D-Flow.
No, it's not a big excuse. It was not in any way out of antipathy. It was not a payback to CDC. I defended the CDC for 3 months in its very seat, in its very room, in its very city, in its very town. I don't hate CDC. I just have fundamental differences the way the party is taking Liberia and where the party wants to take Liberia. That's what my problem is. I got no personal problem with anybody in the CDC. I have one person that I don't like in the whole CDC. That's Samuel Tuet. I have no personal thing against Joria. Joria and myself have personal issue. We settle it. I move on. I'm not vented. I'm not vented.
D-Flow, before Mr. Kunney comes in, Mr. Kunney, wait. Okay. You know the name cat in our Liberian what it denotes when somebody say, "Oh, they made a cat." Did you take that into consideration, or is this catness something that you now regret because you know you could have done it better?
I have no regret.
All right. Thank you.
Let
Mr.
me say
Kunney.
it publicly, and I repeat, I did not do it out of hate, so I have no regret. Period.
Mr. Kunney, you go.
I started my comment by referencing the English poet. We have to be very careful when we comment about the dead. We have to always be reminded that these are people that live their lives. These are people that love themselves. These are people that have families who love them. And we have to be mindful of the things that we say. If we don't do that, we diminish ourselves further. We're thinking that we're diminishing the dead, but we are diminishing ourselves further. We have, as community leaders, as political leaders, as journalists, we have an ethical duty, a moral duty to watch our communication. You cannot justify coarse language under the canopy of division, under the canopy that we think the country is divided. And the names that we use, especially when someone has passed on, I think if a brother had used dog, he would still justify dog because it was too short for him to go find the spelling of the representative. I mean, his apology doesn't matter, but he talking about division. He has to be aware that those kind of languages contribute to the division that he's so passionate about. Because as leaders, we have to set the trend. We have to set the standard. We have to correct if there is divisive languages in our political space, we have to correct that. So I don't know can justify the desecration of someone loved one who has passed away. I don't know what differences that can do that. You want to discuss the politics of the CDC or the government? There are a lot of places you can do that. But it is not at the point where somebody died. You want to criticize the opposition? There are a lot of places you can do that. But not when an opposition leader passes away. And I think we have to really discourage that kind of behavior. It is not a behavior to defend. It's not a behavior to justify. Because the more we do that, we diminish ourselves. That's just the point I want to make. Let us always be reminded that these people we talk about, they got families, they got people that love them, no matter what we feel about them. And those families are grieving. And we have to identify with their grief. And I make one final point. Some of us that come from certain background, we are told that if you have a differences with somebody, there are 3 areas those differences should end. Either at the birth of a child, at wedding ceremony, or when that person passed away. But I see some of our Liberian, fellow Liberians still continuing the antagonism towards people that even die. They want to continue. I told somebody, if you want to stay adjudicate your grievances with the dead, then follow the dead. So you can go and do it there. Follow the dead.
Thank you, Mr. Kunney. And we are getting some Facebook comments, some for or against the flow. And one of the comments from McDonald Johnson say, didn't this lady not refer to herself as the cat? What's the big deal? So we have the video, and we're going to play it. Also, while we're playing that video, Walton me, we say, remember D-Flow, you talk about the mistake of others, but what goes around comes around to more, yeah? So go on.
No little rat will dance around.
Eugene Johnson say all the time you talk to have people chase her, you didn't know how to spell her name all the time. George Wheeler said D-Flow will die one day and the breaking news will be even demonstrating than day. Stephen Johnson said D-Flow admitted that you misspoke. Let's get the video. D-Flow is basing his argument on the misspelling.
I listen to I listened to the Senator Darius Delon. I listened to the Senator of Monserrato County, Darius Delon, addressing a partisan of mine in person of Abu Kamara. He spoke to the press and he told the press Abu is not in the same league with him. I stand with you, Mr. Delon. I agree with you that you and Abu is not in the same league because I'm a witness to Abu graduating from high school. You are not in the same league with Abu, Mr. Delon. I agree with you 110%. Yes. Because Abu has a wire certificate, bring yours. So, it is true that you are not in the same league with him because to enter Abu league, you must have wire certificate, you must have high school. There will be no mouse. Powerful speech. No little rat will dance around. No way. All the Muppet that were dancing to Tom and Jerry music, please note that the cat is here, the wild wolf. Yes. When I see you, you're not supposed to be to the place you will be. I am the cat. I have returned. I will eat you all. I listened to the Senator Darius Delon. I listened to the Senator of Monserrato County, Darius Delon, addressing a partisan of mine in person of Abu Kamara. He spoke to the press and he told the press Abu is not in the same league with him. I stand with you, Mr. Delon. I agree with you that you and Abu is not in the same league because I'm a witness to Abu graduating from high school.
In the back room, if we get that video off now. So
all right, yeah, go ahead, Mr. John.
So that's the video many are referring to that, hey, the lady called herself the cat, and I think I heard D-Flow mention that. D-Flow, is that a justification that she called herself the cat? That's why you were saying it?
My whole life in politics, I've come to know some politicians that just label themselves. They give themselves different. They come out and say, I'm referring to this. Bill Clinton has a special name. He gave himself name when he was in politics. George Manuel Weah, let's take it home. Let's take it home from. George Manuel Weah is referred to as the country giant, right? The second one now they have for him is viral medicine. So the day God forbid something happens to him, the writer will decide. The writer will decide what name he wants to. So I did not invent the white cat. I was nowhere in condescending. I was nowhere trying to make fool out of it. See, this says I was nowhere trying to make something new. Excuse me. She said it, and you just played a video. George Weah is called the country giant. He is now the new, no more country giant. They gave him another one. Viral medicine. So the guy moved for him.
Thank you. Mr. Kunney.
I think what we have to realize here is that context matters. Context matters. If you play the tape, there is no way the representative is saying that from today on, my name is Cat. She's speaking within context. She talked about a wolf, the relationship between the wolf and the cat. That is the context she's speaking in. That doesn't mean that she has changed her name to Cat. You see, and this is why we say look, you journalists, you can write whatever you want to write. You know, you can write whatever you want to write, but context matters. There are times I myself, based on certain things that I do, I play Scrabble. My Scrabble playing name is the Dangerous Underdog. So does that mean when something happens to me, the underdog, you will call me underdog? You know, it is within context. She has not changed her name officially to Cat. For someone who proud himself as a journalist to give a breaking news and say the cat, and this one maybe who has even said the dog. You know, but what I'm saying is we got to go back to what I'm saying. We should not diminish, we should not desecrate the dead. Death is not for one person. Sickness is not for one person. And whatever differences we have, we should leave them at that threshold. Liberians will always have differences. What we're seeing, the tragedy that we see in our country is we don't even know where to end the differences. And it sometimes goes to the level of self-hate. You know, we hate ourselves so much, we hate our country so much, that all we look for is just negativity.
No, we don't hate our country. Our leader is a divisive politician.
Diflo, please give me a chance. You know, I don't interrupt you when you're speaking, please.
So this is a debate forum. This is a debate.
Well, but we have to. In another debate, I'm not debating you. I'm not debating you.
You are defending.
Mr. Kunney, finish your thought.
We hate our country so much to the point that all we travel is negativity. That's what we travel on. Look at the COVID experience. When Liberia, when the COVID thing started in Liberia, I think we're around 3 or 30 cases, and there were no case in Sierra Leone. Liberians were giving all the praises to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone has 0 case. Sierra Leone has 0 case. But now look at the report from the WHO. Sierra Leone has more cases and more deaths than Liberia. All of a sudden, you don't hear that.
Really?
I'm giving you WHO statistics. I'm not saying according to me.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying is, this self-hate, we have to find a way to stop it at some point.
Thank you, Mr. Kunney. I don't want us to delve on. Let's take a step back and look at why this is happening and how we can stop it, because I think we all agree that this is not the way to go. I too I felt personally hurt when people were making some derogatory comments about a loved one of mine who passed away. And so these things must stop. How do we go about it? What's your suggestion, D-Flow? You think?
You know, I'm a human being. There's a certain part of me that tells me that, oh, you know why? First of all, the people of the nation must decide what they want. You want to pick a leader, the leader must have his own thoughts, must be a man who will sit down and be able to articulate and distinguish between good and evil. Good and evil. If the leader chooses to come on this world stage and denigrate the opposition, say they are a bunch of losers, they are a bunch of haters, enemy of the state, you divide the nation. But the way forward to answer your question, see, this sense must understand that being a leader, being in the chair, does not mean you have control over everybody. Does not mean the opposition must be mute. Does not mean nobody speaks. Does not mean that you have absolute power. It is not that way. It does not work like that. It has never hold. It creates more antipathy. It creates more problems. It creates more hate. It creates more problems for your leadership. Because why? That's why we call in politics, winning and governance are two different things. You can be chosen by the people.
You kind of more or less saying this thing started with the CDC government.
No, I did not start with the CDC government. I did not. In 2017, I went to Liberia.
No, what I mean is this whole politics of hate or the politics of denigrating the dead because of political differences. You are laying the blame on the CDC government. Is that where it started?
It started from the CDC government. John, we are called it enemy of the state. He called the opposition enemy of the state. Citizens say they are losers, they are enemy of the state, they are criminals, they are hustlers, racketeers. Who speaks like that? He goes to a party headquarters, he said, I came to make force. I'm here to make force. No Europe will win in a town. Who speaks like that? That's a divisive politician. That's a divisive leader of the state. That man cares about himself, not the general view. Excuse me.
So what does he have to do with talking bad about the dead?
Look, Dennis, I gotta jump in here. Because I think we have to stay within the confines of the topic. And I see the brother, laboring very hard to justify a very coarse comment, a very inhumane comment. a very what I would call senseless comment using the general politics of the country. You know, and we have to make our choices here. You ask me where you ask me where it will start. Where it will start is for you and me to elevate our discourse, including D-Flow and other people, to elevate our discourse when we are discussing our country. We cannot purposefully disrespect the dead because we disagree with a politician. That's not the way we should go. And like I said, there are so many forums you can go and attack the politician for that. If you think that the president is divisive, you are a journalist. You write, you persuade people, but you don't do it at the expense of someone passing away when their families.
No, we crossed that
are
part.
grieving.
We have crossed that
we
part.
have
He's
not
asking
crossed
what
that
is the
part.
way forward.
The way forward. Change your politics of jubilating over the death of people because you disagree with the politics of the day. It is wrong.
Mr. Kunney.
You have to stop that.
May I ask
You
you
have
this
to
question?
stop that.
Mr. Kunney?
You know, I'm coming before you ask your question.
You that, Mr. Kunney.
Before you ask the question, look, what I'm saying, the place I take solace is that, look, the country is a very big country. There are a lot of people in the country. And certain uncomfortable things will be done at the street level that people may not have control over. But I'm talking about at the leadership level. Whenever it comes to the passing of someone, I've seen the president of the Republic of Liberia in a unified manner. I've not seen joy we are celebrating at the death of anybody, opponent or opposition. I've not seen that. And if it were to happen, I would be the first to condemn him or any member of his government that is doing that. You can't go control the people that they control the thing the people in waters are doing or the ordinary people doing. We're not talking about ordinary behavior. I'm talking to D-Flow, who has a platform, official platform, that is using his platform to celebrate the death of Liberians because he disagrees politically. That is wrong. He needs to be called out on it. It is wrong.
Mr. Kunney, may I ask this question? Dennis Jah will always remind me of this parable, that there are times when we fall, we tend to look to the wrong place, meaning that you stump your toe here, but because you fell somewhere further, you think that's where the problem is, and I want to look at where you stump your toe. D-Flow make the point or the argument that the president started this whole thing, but you are saying that has no relation to this death. So my question to you is, leaders need to set the tone. Have President Weah not said some things, I know you will say they are political, that the opposition felt were insensitive, would we have come to this place? That's first question. Second question, now that it has happened, how can our leader be an example? Because the rhetoric continue to remain toxic because it started from the very onset.
I reject the premise of the two questions you asked. We have to make a clear distinction between death, creating the dead, and politics. Those are two different things. Rejoicing, openly rejoicing at the death of a fellow human being, it is completely different from the politics of the day. Anybody who does that has no humanity. We have to be clear on that. You talk about the politics of the country, you talk about the languages of the president. Just yesterday, to a meeting with the Islamic people, openly calling the president a criminal, a raw political rhetoric. People call the president Jika Flea. A prominent politician referred to the president that he was not read the right way. That should be respected. Make that comment about the president. The president, he was not read the right way. So every politician make these kind of incendiary comments either to play to their base or to mobilize their supporters. I'm saying there is a clear distinction when one of us pass away, when one of us die, our common humanity, we should be subdued by that and be respectful of that. Nothing in our humanity should allow us to celebrate that and go say because we're not singing hallelujah to one another politically. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Kunney. I think we can move forward.
Can I come in?
Yeah, before you come, let me read a few comments because I've been accused here. I read
you sounded with a Southeastern brother. I want to see.
Okay, George Wheeler read his comment. He said D-Flow will die one day, but then he came back and said Dennis Jai is biased. He's reading other comments, but I think Abby Tyler has a kind of switcher that I want to bring in. You see, I hope this courtesy applies to regular people, not just big people. She's saying, we are talking about people denigrating the dead, but we're talking about, honorables. We applying the same courtesy to little people. That's the kind of twist that she's bringing in. Kesali Double say, if you are condemning seditions for celebrating the death of others, which is very sickening and pathetic, it is very sad that you allow sentiment to take over your journalistic mind when you did such a post. Very shameful of you, so stop justifying. Torin Queen said, D-Flow, you have no right to call her cat because she is there. You are wrong, D-Flow. Stephen Johnson Page said, D-Flow, just apologize if your post was taken out of context. You did not mean it that way. We don't hurt the country, we hurt ourselves. Eugene Mason said, what politics you know? You are just a clever liar. We don't want to go to that kind of language. Let me see my man who say I'm biased, what he's saying. Okay, George Wheeler said, Dennis Jai is biased. He is selective in the comment he reads. This doesn't create a balanced debate.
I like that piece. I like that part. Okay, so I got. Let me just say something to.
Go ahead, then we can move on.
Yeah. So Mr. Kunney here, you said senseless comment, but let me take you back. You are a member of the UDA, is that correct?
I was.
You were a part of UDA. Okay, what did you say? What did you say when the president of the Republic, George Oponwia, publicly said to the other side on a political bargain that you guys are enemy of the state? What was your position? Did you come out to condemn it, or you are condemning me because I'm not from the Southeastern, or because I'm not a citizen?
You know, most of my brothers, when they lost the argument, they go straight to ethnicity. We're not discussing ethnicity.
I have not lost no argument. I can win not any debate anytime with you.
You when they lost the argument, they run on ethnicity. But let me tell you, I was a Southeasterner before John Weah became president, and I will remain a Southeasterner after he. And I will
remain a Bongi.
But to answer your question, I've been out of the ULA leadership about 5 years ago. I don't speak for the organization anymore. You understand? Mm-hmm. I don't speak for the organization anymore. But again, the comforting thing for me is that, like I say, we as leaders need to lead by example. We need to lead by our work, by our action, by things that we do. All of these people that have passed away, what comfort me is that if you meet any of their families, tell you the exemplary compassion, the sympathy that the president of Liberia has shown towards them. That is completely different from the picture that you're trying to print. You can pick any of the families, whether that the Bromskin family, whether that Adolph Lawrence family, they will tell you how the president was very compassionate during their period
That's a baloney. Let me say that in American. That's a baloney.
All right.
That's a baloney. This man as the leader of the state.
You don't have the facts.
Did not come to condemn his partisans. When they celebrated a man on his dying bed, he did not publicly denounce and condemn them. That's baloney. Don't come here and say that to me in my face.
Let's move on. We have a lot of callers. We have a lot of callers on the line, and I think, Mr. Sieh, we should allow them to come in now.
Let's deal with our first segment first, and then we will roll with them in this last segment. Callers, please. I know the topic is juicy. You want to participate, but let me introduce our second segment. In our next segment here, we want to discuss the recent visit by our former president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, at her party's headquarters. And during her visit, a journalist by the name James Goodday Flomo asked a question, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not take kindly to that question. There are many on Facebook who criticize James Goodday Flomo for asking the question. The young man asked the question, Madam President, you said you're not in active politics, but we see you at a political party headquarters. Why are you here? And Ellen was like, what planet is this guy coming from? This is not Ellen's first time getting uneasy with questions coming from a journalist. Many of us who follow these things are aware of an interview that she had with Al Jazeera, right? And she was like caught with her laptop down on that in that interview. She almost, I think, not almost, she walked away. Huh?
Please don't take her laptop, I beg you.
I said she was caught with her laptop down. It's a figurative expression, so don't read too much into it, Dennis. I know Tevina Cole might be watching. I might be in trouble with her. But Ellen was caught with her laptop down. She walked away from that interview. In that interview, Liberians who watched it were like, yes. And that is a different national who quizzed Ellen in a very tough way. He was hailed, but James Goodday Flomo, a Liberian, who challenged her for saying she not in active politics, but she at a political party headquarters. What kind of dumb question is that? No question is dumb in this world. But again, we all see things differently. That's one issue we'll be talking about. So we also want to know, is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf still relevant? On the same Ellen issue, hearing Pedro Costa, who people refer to as the one having the biggest microphone, he has an outburst, which we'll play later on during the show. He called Ellen all kinds of names. It's a mistake for the CPP to more like be allowing her, at any of the political party event whatsoever. Are there political minuses and pluses with the Ellen scenario? That's why we're about to start. But who will better start with than Dennis Jack? Dennis Jack, what's your take?
Right. I hope you have that video to play, because
yeah.
I have a personal thing with our leaders who I don't see them often. Why has President, we are not being on focus on Liberia? Why is President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf not on focus on Liberia? I don't see them anywhere around the Liberian press.
Nope.
But I see President Sirleaf with Al Jazeera or with some international. So when I watch that clip and she appeared very rattled by that question and even, upset, you could see that in the first place, why should it? I mean, she was so angry.
Yeah, she was angry.
And the first thing that came to me is she angry because he is a Liberian asking her a question? Who are you? Because she sits with international press to ask for interviews. President Weah does the same. But I don't see them. Do they have press conferences? Do they have journalists coming and asking them questions? I don't see that, and that's troubling for me. I dislike that even more than the way she responded. But, journalists, D-Flow will have another take. D-Flow.
Yes, sir.
What's your take?
When Costa, most of the time as a journalist, you have sources, or some of your friends are on the field. James Goodday Flomo happens to be from Lofa County. The town he's from is called Fisabu. I played soccer in Fisabu. I was a goalie in Zaza District. Lofa County is my adopted county. I was born in Maserado. I moved to Lofa at age 2, according to my mom. So I played soccer. I started education there. I also went back to Sierra Leone and did some of my studies. But to your question, when it comes to Ellen and Costa and the whole 9 yards, my thing about the Liberian people is this. Why would somebody think that Ellen is not relevant? So my thing about this again is, why would somebody think that Ellen is a witchcraft? Why would somebody think again that Ellen is irrelevant. Well, of course, except if you have not read a book of politics that says to you, your former leader, a leader of the state, is still relevant. Bill Clinton, for example, when a Democrat is sitting in the United States, they still consult Bill Clinton. They go to Barack Obama for consent. They consult these people because they have some ideas about state issues. But it goes more than just a man looking at irrelevancy and irrelevancy. And this is why I said to my brother Costa when he made that post about Ellen, I went under the post. I was one of the first few people. Johnson Pay here, Stephen Johnson Pay here can attest to it. Costa himself and myself got into it. I said to him that the opposition needs Ellen in order to get to state power. And this is my reason. And I emphasized this today on my podcast. I said, as a student of politics, I see Ellen as a player, a political player. Africa's best, Liberia's Maradona, political Maradona. Ellen has a way to play the politics. So if you think Costa can have the post and say, Ellen, we don't need Ellen, Ellen should not go to Unity Party headquarters. I said to my brother publicly, that's a lie. You need Ellen. You need Ellen to return to Roof FM. I need Ellen to return to Roof FM. You need Ellen to return to state power. And this is why I said to him, in one of our conversations behind the scene, I told my brother, one-on-one, that the mission must remain focused, we must focus our attention on remove and making sure that the Liberian people understand that they voted for a man who has nothing to offer other than steal and enrich himself.
Right.
So
okay.
Let's educate them in that direction.
Diflo, what do you make of the James Goodday Flomo's question and President Saleh's response?
I think as a member of the Fourth Estate, my brother James Goodday Flomo is a good journalist, but he's a little bit fumble. But this is the point. Ellen has said in the seat before he came with that question, he asked Ellen, "What are you here for?" Ellen said, "I was called to come to my party, to come to a meeting with my colleagues, to sit with them as a member of this party, to talk." And I said to them, "I am here, but I am not actively involved in politics. But that does not mean I am not a UPist. So why are you telling her in the next question, what are you doing here?" That's disrespectful, that arrogance, that being rude to the former president. Period.
Thank you.
Mr. Kunney, what's your take?
Well, you raised two fundamental issues. First, the access of the media to our leaders. I think in the interest of transparency, in the interest of good governance, leaders should make themselves available to the press from time to time, because that's the way the public would know how their government is being run. So I myself, I would want to encourage, the leadership to do that. And we should give equal access to Liberian journalists the same way we do foreign journalists. In fact, Liberian journalists should be our medium of communication, because this is where your constituency is. I do recognize the importance of the international component, but I think most should be with the Liberian media to communicate the policies of government, to communicate issue of governance in the country. So I want to encourage the president. I want to encourage political leaders to make themselves available to Liberian media platforms, so that together we can discuss the issues that face Liberia. With specific reference to the interaction between the journalist and the former president, I want to agree with Diflo on this one. I think the question was asked, and the question was adequately answered by President Saleh. So the additional effort to press the president on the same question, to me, either display one or two things. Either you wanted to get you get former president to agitate the former president, or you couldn't comprehend the answer. She clearly stated that she is not in active politics, but her party, she stay a Unity Party partisan. Her partisan called her, they wanted to talk to her So she was at the party headquarters. That was clear. And then to keep asking is like either you don't understand the question, or you were just looking for some gotcha moment that didn't contribute to anything. So with regard to her relevancy, I also agree. I mean, it would be, I think, a political suicide for anybody in Liberia to think that Ellie is not politically relevant. Ellie is still one of the most recognizable names both in Liberia and in the international community. So I think she's relevant. And if I were in any kind of strategic political decision, I mean, I would factor her, in whatever calculations I was making. Thank you.
Right.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask D-Flow this question. D-Flow, Mr. Kunney just agree with you on your 2 points. I didn't see you going after him as someone from the Southeast, but when he disagreed, then you bring the Southeastern component. And this is what we do here. No, hold on, D-Flow, let me learn. This is what we do here. We hold each other accountable. We don't have no fish to fry in Liberian politics. Our goal here is to bring people and hold them accountable, and we want nothing for them but the truth and honesty. Do you still hold that view that Mr. Kunney expressed a different opinion on the previous issue we're discussing because he's from the Southeast?
I take that back, but I think the brother is a citizen.
Oh, now you're going to another accusation.
I gave you an extra one. Okay, that was just a big joke. Let's leave that alone. No disrespect to the brother B here. No disrespect to Mr. Kunney here. I take that back. I take my comment about some Eastern stuff and stuff like that. But the issue here is that you can see from the point that he's not talking about, he did not condemn George Manawia when he referred to the opposition as enemy of the state. This is where the divisiveness begins. This is where it started. It is the president that started this whole thing, and citizen took it and ran with it. And this is why it is playing out openly. Divisiveness started from George Okonwuya on day one. Right there, in the eyes of other of us. I was in Liberia. I bought a newspaper and I came with it in the United States. Enemy of the state. How can you be the leader of the country and refer to other people that disagree with you as enemy of the state? You have divided the country. You can't reach out to them.
D-Flow, let's go back a little bit into history. And I'm glad you took that back, because this thing about Southeasterner and thing is so disgusting in our Liberian politics now that you cannot disagree or you cannot agree because, and we all link that to some form of tribal lineage. But let's put that aside and come to the history. I think it was I shared that article with you or Mr. Sieh, when Dr. H.B. Formula came to the state to dispel rumors that the government of Liberia of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, there was a so-called memo called the Nipe, I think it was Nipe memo, that listed some Liberians as enemies of the state. So the president or the government dispatched Dr. H. Boama Formula and Mrs. Medina Wisse to the states to dispel the notion or the rumors that the government was labeling people as enemies of the state. So this thing about enemies of the state, it didn't start with George Weah. He has been there.
Well, but you got to see it this way, though. This is a different emerging democracy. We went through a civil war. So we can't apply the same methodology.
Let me cut you off again, because these are some of the things that I disagree with when people call Liberia's democracy as emerging or as young. We have had democracy for 100 years now. Go ahead.
Well, but okay, you say I should go ahead, but you got to see it this way. If you look at some of the things that contributed to our civil war, look back. Some of those statements, that enemy of the state, those are the things that contributed to the civil war. So we cannot apply, we cannot use anything of that nature at this time.
Divlo, there should be no amount of political rhetoric that will put any Liberian, especially you and myself at this level, to rejoice, to desecrate, to dehumanize the death of another Liberian, period.
No, but I thought we passed that. I thought we're not discussing that.
No,
right?
but you keep using the president being divisive as a justification, because that was a major point during the time we were talking about people rejoicing. I'm telling you, it's possible to separate the politics of the day to our common humanity when somebody passed away, when somebody died, for us to be respectful of the dead, grieve with the family, bury the person, and then return to politics.
Well, but my question to you: what did you do as an adult, as member of the folks, as a member?
What did you and Mr. Kunney, we passed that stage. There are callers that are waiting. We're not going to go back. We passed that stage. Let's make progress. We all make contribution on that. Let us make progress. In this segment, after that, we'll be bringing our callers in. On the whole Ellen issue, another person that make another big news is Henry Pedro Costa. And after that segment, we'll be bringing our callers in. Costa went on and said a whole lot of things about that particular meeting that Ellen attended at her party headquarters. This time, we're going to listen to the clip, and then we will come back to discuss it. So I'm rolling that clip right now.
No good. You're just useless people. I mean, some of you actually profess to care about this woman. Some of you are just stupid people. I don't understand some of you at all. Useless people. Anybody who thinks that Ellie is a good person is a stupid fool. Either they made millions of dollars when she was in power, they profited. Yeah. They helped her destroy the country, or they're just downright stupid. Only two types of people like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The people who benefited from her 12 years in office and destroyed the country, or the people who are just downright stupid. Period. Just downright stupid. That's what it is. And you, Ella James, you bloody, I'm just blocking you now. I've had enough of your nonsense, you stupid fool. This woman brought death and misery to so many people in our country. Over 250,000 lives were lost. You know, sometimes I look at the Liberian people, I just look at you and I get sickened. No good, you're just useless people. I mean, some of you actually profess to care about this woman. Some of you are just stupid people. I don't understand some of you at all. Useless people. Anybody who thinks that Ellie is a good person.
All right, folks, you just heard for yourself Henry Pedro Costa there using some tough words, and many of you who had the opportunity to listen to Costa call Ellen a witch. I'm not here to defend Ellen. I'm not a fan of her, by the way, but I just respect her politics, and I think she is a player. That's I can say about her. But Costa there saying that anybody who believe that Ellen should be considered a player, paraphrasing here, that person is stupid. That person, maybe only useless, referring to his fellow Liberians who made a decision, to accommodate Ellen politically or want to listen to her as stupid, useless, and all kinds of names just because of that decision. So, I mean, let's talk about this. And Costa also supports the opposition. If the opposition really want to unify the country and get a chance or a shot at the next election, I thought they should be looking for wherever they can get a number. The CDC played that game with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen supported Ellen Johnson, the CDC, and Joey played against Marx. Today he's president. The COP and the CPP, are they in trouble here with this behavior from Costa? Let's start with D-Flow on this one. D-Flow.
Costa made that post. In my early statement, I said that I watched the interview, and that's how I got a whole clip. It was not like somebody sent it to me or I got like go read it later. Good Day was live, and I kept following the process. That's why my brother had to agree with me here. So when Costa made that statement, he posted that statement, I went under his post and said to him, you need Madam Sirleaf. I need Madam Sirleaf. Everybody in the opposition, those who believe that George Weah is the wrong leader of the state because his leadership skills, he does not have that ability to lead a nation, to unify this country and move this country in the right direction. All of us will have to come together, congregate accept Madam Sieh as a great, a skillful politician, that we all need her. She is a player. Under my post, Costa came out and said, damn it, D-Flow, you want to tell me you want to sleep with the devil to get the state power? I said, absolutely yes. I am willing to die with the devil, to sleep with the devil, sleep with in the garden of Eve, the wicked one, the most dangerous politician, just for me to remove and change my country and remove Mr. Weir, democratically by the people. Because there are a number of reasons here. We are not going to move forward when we have a divided country. We are not going to move forward when we have a president that goes to the UN and comes back in less than 2 minutes and he changes his position on national issues. So I disagree with my brother Costa, and this was done on his page this morning. I listed all of my disagreement and put it on my wall. I went live and I explained to the Liberian people my position. So many citizens believe that my relationship with Costa, I am a follower. But just so you know, Costa is my friend. He's my brother. We have a good relationship. But that does not in any way indicate that I have to accept everything from him. I'm him.
Thank you.
I'm him. To add to that, Costa has to limit most of his attack against certain people in the republic. He has to lower the volume. You can speak on national issues, but let's take for example, the last time the thing that happened at the Bamuma, at the Nigeria holiday, right? Costa went out and took responsibility. The next day he came out and said, we were not involved in it. You can't do that as a leader. Assess the situation. Do not ever be the one to take full responsibility, because this is my problem with Costa though. We have a nation, many of our brothers are destitute. There is no job opportunity for them. They are willing to accept you to push them to go and cause chaos. And at the end of the day, you come back and say, I'm sorry. It does not work like that, Costa. It does not work like that. Assess the situation. Never want to get yourself involved in anything that will bring violence in Liberia, period. So when it comes to Ellie, I am a strong supporter. Not just because I met her in 2015. Not based on that. I like Ellie because she knows how to play politics.
Thank you, D-Flow. Let's hear from Kunney, and then I have my own take. Mr. Kunney.
Well, look, Dennis, I know maybe some people will not be surprised, but I have always stated that Henry Costa is one of the most overrated political activists, if you call it, or politician in Liberia. The guy is not driven by any ideology. He has no strategy. He doesn't even have following. You know, at the last time I said, Henry Costa has not been able to even mobilize one electoral district in Montserrat County in all of the demonstrations he's held. If you go to the first demonstration, he did general maybe 14,000, second one 7. He has not been able to mobilize one electoral district in Montserrat County to anything. He contested in the election, got barely 500 votes. This is the most overrated political hustler in our country. He has not contributed to anything national other than the same incendiary rhetorics, the call for violence and all of these things. Look, Dennis, look at Henry Costa and compare them to individuals that made name around his age. I think Henry Costa is way older than Bacchus Matthews when Bacchus Matthews introduced multi-party democracy in Liberia, when he formed the first opposition political party to the Truth Party. Look at Henry Costa. He's way older than Amos Sawyer when Amos Sawyer challenged the status quo for voter right to remove the property clause on the hill of Liberia. This generation is the most lost generation. I always say on this show, the advocacy is driven by Bella. It's driven by what to eat. Nothing they put in place. We have serious governance, national issue in the country. We talk about decentralization, the whole concept of decentralization. All we hear from people in opposition cycles is how to change one government and put another government there. The system is okay. The only thing that is wrong with the system are the people running the system. We don't need to change anything. These are the kind of politicians that are leading our country. This is the lost generation. So, I mean, I don't listen to Costa. The man is a hustler. And I mean, he may be facing certain challenges because there are certain things. Look, human life follow certain pattern. At certain time, you're supposed to be able to achieve certain things. If you let that time slip and things that you're supposed to achieve at a certain point in life, you're fighting for them later on, I think it creates a kind of internal confusion in your mind that make you to lead to some of these things. Calling Ellen names, calling any other person he disagree with, calling them names, that's all he has. He doesn't have any philosophy. He doesn't have any message to inspire the Liberian people. This is why the message doesn't even go, the message from the man doesn't even go beyond the street of Monrovia. No matter how he broadcast, he's able to mobilize one person beyond the street of Monrovia.
Thank you.
I got a rebuttal for that.
No, Dennis, your take, and then we'll go to the line. Hold on, D-Flow.
Right. I mean, my take, as I listen to Henry Costa, in my life, I watched just one of his shows, but I still see snippets of his broadcast. When I heard him say that, I just thought he was talking to himself, because I think Mr. Costa has been one of the most inconsistent person in our recent history, because everything that he has said, he will also go against. So if you talk about somebody who also was in favor of Ellen, that would be him. So many things that he has said that he have come to say the opposite. If you could follow, and get all his tips together, you will see how one tip will contradict the other. And I don't think you can go without a day without having that some form of contradiction. To say that Ellen is irrelevant, to say that Ellen, whoever believes Ellen is stupid or that person had benefited from what we have seen when Ellen was in power, was Mr. Costa benefited. Mr. Costa was heard on tape saying, yes, give me this, I'm going to go easy, and all these things that are there. So I wouldn't use the language or the way of Mr. Kunney characterizes him, but I really too believe that he doesn't have a message. It is this message of or a philosophy or something that he really stands for as a way for things to go. Is more or less of being reactionary. This person did this, and you come down hard, so has to mobilize or ramp up the base or get people riled up, and they are ready to move. I think he's very crafty. He's a very good speaker. He knows how to move people into action. But I think when the people are moved, he cannot really maintain them. He cannot sustain whatever he's doing, because he doesn't stay on the same message. He come back and say something else. So it's very difficult to see what he's going to say next.
That's what hustlers do.
We saw he came down very hard on Mr. Alex Cummings in the CPP. I'm waiting to see what he's going to say. I'm not even sure if he still stand by those comments. So I'm not sure what Mr. Costa is going to do next when I watch some of these videos.
And Mr. Jai, what you just said, brought me to this point. You are right. Costa, in a video, he talked about, I will fight you, I will fight you, I will mobilize my man, and we could tell, those who follow the politics knew that he was talking to Elizana Cummings. In no time, that very Costa, especially when Alex Cummings became the leader of the CPP, will support Mr. Cummings, will do this. This young brother can't behave this way. Yesterday he was for George Weah. Today he's not. And people tend to forget, right? This is the very Costa. When George Weah got elected, propagated messages for the government for 10 months. He told us that he got $5,000 as a token. And you see, thousands of Liberians on Facebook celebrating this brother. The guy who took $5,000 that was given to him by Sekou Kalasco as a token, and he would justify that, oh, but I was using my platform. We are using our platform here to inform Liberians, to educate Liberians. Are we taking money from them? We're not. You chose to be an advocate. Anyway, we will leave it right there and bring in our callers.
Give me a minute. Let me just do a quick rebuttal, if you don't mind.
These guys are.
I would do the rebuttal of the rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah, please, let's do one rebuttal each.
All right, yeah, D-Flow go, and then we'll
my big brother there, my big brother there, he is saying as to say Costa is not relevant. Costa is relevant to our body politics. Costa is relevant. Let me repeat his words, relevant to our body politics. But my concern about him is the rhetoric. Sometimes we have to jack it up, right? We increase the volume because we do it for a reason. There's a reason why we increase the volume when we sometimes do that, but it can't be everyday thing. But to as the man said, talk about, oh, Costa cannot do this. Costa entered the race 2017 and came in 6 months. 6 months of the election. Costa got 300,000 votes.
No. He cannot get 300,000 votes. Don't say
he got 300. He got 300 votes, not 300,000.
Okay, 300. You can say 300 votes. I will check that out, but I think there's record up there.
If you are getting 300,000 votes, you have won the election. I could be wrong
here, but I got people watching here. They can state the fight. Costa was able to do something well.
Even the Lord did not get 300,000.
Okay, maybe he got 300 votes, but somebody here will correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not.
No, I'm correcting you now. It's not 300,000.
I'm not certain about that. But you can say that Costa, his message cannot go beyond Morovia. That's not true. That's not true. During the election, I was able to monitor Costa in some part of Bon County. How can you say it cannot go beyond? Most of the radio stations in Liberia, they are community radio stations. But Ruth FM is not a community radio station. It's the biggest radio station in Liberia.
Do we still have it? Because using it. Do we still have the Ruth FM operating or was?
Well, because it is stay on the air. I mean, he goes out on Facebook, so we still consider it.
Okay, he's online now.
So he's online, so he still considered Ruth FM. So that is what it is. So it is not that Costa is not relevant. Costa is relevant, but some of us are working with Costa to lower the volume, increase the volume when it is necessary, cut down the insult when it is necessary, go under this point area in the nut when it is necessary, but don't do it every day.
Okay, so let me just give a quick.
That's a protocol term.
let me just give a quick rebuttal.
All right. Mr. Kunney,
look, when we say the man is overrated and he's not relevant, some of us would believe in data. We believe in empirical facts. This man has called for 2 demonstrations in Liberia. All of the 2 demonstrations generated a turnout of below 20,000. That is not even equal to 1 electoral district in Mazzarado County. And all of these demonstrations, all of these demonstrations being planned for months, and we will be told that there will be demonstrations in all the counties and all of that. Nobody listens. Look, when we say relevant, is not measured by the bombacity of your language or the reach of your radio station. I'm talking about who listen to you and willing to follow you. The last demonstration, barely 5,000 people show up. The first demonstration, maybe about 14,000. That's all he has.
Mr. Kunney,
he has not proven that.
Besides demonstration, I mean, if you say the mayor is not relevant, I wouldn't agree with you. But
let's say he took back.
Using just demonstration as your example,
three metrics. He took part in an election. He got 300 votes.
That was before he got really popular. Let's be real.
No, you were popular long before he took part in the election. He got 300 votes. He had called for 2 demonstrations that has not amounted to any significant turnout that will even reach the level of what you call near to even popular uprising. What metrics are we using? Okay, if we want to make him relevant because he costs everybody, then okay, he's relevant. But politically, he's not.
Gentlemen,
let's even go to our colors.
Dennis, we got to go to our colors, but I want to agree with Dennis, and I want to agree with D-Flow that Costa, politically speaking, when it comes to the political conversation, he drives it. And I believe that. So to say that he is not relevant, he is the only Liberian whenever he goes live. And this is something, it's meaningful. Whenever he goes live in less than 5 minutes, he will have up to 2,000 people watching him. After
So what
his
a
video,
political
listen,
goose.
Mr. Kunney, listen, Mr. Kunney, listen. When Costa's live show ends, 10 to, let's say less than 6 hours later, you will have up to 15 to 20,000 to have viewed his video. He is the only Liberian you can find with that. It is a plus for him in terms of popularity. This brother is eloquent. He communicates effectively. But my question is, does he have to insult? And it tells me my strategy is that the insult bring out the worst instance of people to follow him. So he's just craving for the attention. He enjoys it and he rides on it. And that is the deception I don't like about the brother, operation. But again, he's a radio guy. Maybe that's why he does for living. That's how he makes the money. I don't know, because the last time I checked, my understanding is that he does not have a job. That is his career. So he got to do whatever he can.
That's a job. That's a job.
Yeah, that's a job. I agree. That's a job. Hey, Mr. Kunney, I know you will have time to respond. Let's go to our callers here. Mr. Kunney, I'm going to one more DKU. I am going to one more DKU here.
I will bring that point up.
Let's bring in this one. Caller has been waiting for so long. Caller whose number is ending in 9472. Quickly to the issue.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, Mr. Jai, and your colleague in the studio there. I want to thank you guys for the show. My name is Cyrus, and I'm calling from Iowa. I want to speak on the issue of what D-Flow posts were about. I think, in my view, D-Flow made a mistake, because part of the problem that in Liberia right now is the division and the lack of humanity. And these are the same reason that we wasted blood and over 250,000 Liberians died. So I think we should learn our lesson, and it is time that we all try our best to bring the community together and the country together. In regard to Henry Costa, in my view, the level in which we measure Costa relevance in the body politics of Liberia, I don't know what kind of metric we're going to use, but I will a little bit agree with Mr. Kunney. To be relevant, you should be able to pull some result. Costa supported Joseph Boakai. He lost in the election. Costa supported Bernard Ure, and in Ure's own hometown, he was defeated. Costa registered to run as a representative, and he got only 300 votes, and he was massively defeated. And Costa even went and supported his sister, Keria Ure, in District Number 9, used all the propaganda mechanism with all the resources available to him. Keria Ure was defeated. Somebody more want to make the case that Costa supported Dillon and Dillon win, but I don't think so. The Costa supporter make Dillon win won an election. Dillon won an election because of Dillon. Dillon had a platform.
Cyrus, Costa supported Telia Ure, so the support made Telia Ure lose. When it comes to Dillon, why you want to flip it? Just stay in that same line.
No.
Give it to him.
No, I can't give it to Costa because Dillon had his own support. Okay. Dillon make Dillon won. Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. Because let me make myself clear with Dillon and Telia Ure. Didon been in the political arena for a longer time. Didon have his own follower. Didon have his own political voice as compared to Henry Costa. Yes, so I cannot say Costa support made Didon win. Didon had his own voice and he had the ability to generate his own support. So if you look at it, I will look at it the other way around. Costa is using Didon relevant to make himself relevant as well. That's how I would make the argument.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Yes.
Thank you for your contribution. Let's bring in our next caller, and that's Mr. Aliyu Kamara.
He coming to D-Flow.
Aliyu, you are live.
D-Flow, don't be scared. I'm here for you this time. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So have no fears. How you doing, fellow? Hi, Brother Kunney. Hi, D-Flow. Hi, Ansony. And it's Ja.
Yes, sir.
Look, I'll start first with this whole Mona thing. Let's be honest, D-Flow know how to spell Mona. Mona is not how to spell. It's a common Liberian name. Okay? But I let me just say, I understand Brother Kunney's sentiment about death and all of that. I understand that. But the comment D-Flow made about the cat is dead, let's be honest, only D-Flow can define his comment. And D-Flow has said he had no ulterior motive when he called her the cat because she referred to herself as the cat. I noticed my big brother Kunney wanted to crack a lot from what D-Flow said in order to throw him under the bus on this. But let me just give you a scenario. Back in high school in Liberia, the whole Mecklin Street area going down to West Heston, they called me Solo. Because I was this husky guy with a bald head and was always ready to beat people up. So they called me Solo. So when I got hit one time by a bicycle, the newspaper, Solo, they got hit Solo. Nobody called me Aliyu Kamara at the time. They called me Solo, even though they knew me as Aliyu Kamara. But because I was popularly known as Solo, and I accepted the name Solo, so they called me Solo. When you go to Cinco, people say Dr. Kimball because I was a womanizer, so they call me Dr. Kimball. So when something went wrong, we fought somewhere, they say, oh, Dr. Kimball is, even though they knew me as Aliyu. So
Aliyu,
people say they can't, yeah.
Aliyu, the president in one of his famous speeches about driver Bide, he refers to himself as the driver. Why nobody calling him that?
Yeah. Well, because people don't want to call him that. Now, if I
go ahead.
Driver,
continue with your point.
Yeah. Okay. If I call him the driver, I mean, I chose to call him the driver because I didn't call himself the driver, not necessarily because I'm trying to denigrate him. So, D-Flow is the only one who can express or explain in clear terms as to what he meant because I believe his comment was figurative. If it was me personally, individually, which I cannot hold him to my individual life, individually, I would have said, look, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize if you took my statement out of context. But I did not mean it that way. That would put, a little bit of ice, on this whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? Let me touch on Mr. Flomo's question to the President, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The President told Madame Sirleaf was irrelevant. Okay? Just because you're not actively involved in politics doesn't mean you cannot go to the party that made you. Mind you, Madame Sirleaf became president as a result of being a part of the Unity Party. Okay? And I'm not a fan of Madame Sirleaf. But if she tells you, or because you see to a party headquarters, you should ask her a little much more professional questions. Say, okay, what was the meeting about? Was it fruitful? Something that would cajole her to express herself. And you can't ask her, what are you doing here? She is a partisan of the party, bro. Why would you ask her, what is she doing? It is clear she went to her party headquarters.
Just answer the question. Not to get mad.
Well, again, some people... Yeah. Again, I understand what you're saying, Dana. She did not have to get upset. But I hate to say, regardless of the fact that the woman was president and she did political style and whatever, this lady is a female. Okay, and this is not to be sexy in any way, women temperament to be to the tip of their finger. Okay. The issue of Mr. Costa, Dennis. Look, to be honest with you,
that's your final point.
Yeah, I don't say this with any kind of prejudice or hate towards Henry Costa, but to be honest with you, I'll be frank, I can't stand the boy. Look, the previous caller, along with Mr. Kunney, made this clear. Henry Costa is not as relevant as he thinks he is in the political arena. And the records are there. We're talking based upon the records. The records are there. One, Mr. Costa is on record for being one of the most corrupt, if not the most corrupt person in show business. And somebody call him a journalist. I think that's an insult to the journalistic industry. Don't call him a journalist. You know, he's a show host. Mr. Costa is capitalizing on a particular constituents. That's the constituents that does not, and I say this with respect, that doesn't know better. And so he preyed on that particular constituent. The demonstrations and stuff that Mr. Kunney was talking about, Mr. Costa did not make any relevance there until certain people showed up. A District 10 representative, Mr. Yeke Kolba, once he appeared, the crowd began to come. When the senator of Montserrat County, Darrell DeLong, appeared, the crowd began to come. Henry Costa was there with few people, very few people having conversation with the police officers until Yeke Kolba appeared. So Henry Costa also rely upon other people to make himself look good. Henry Costa does not. I guarantee you, Dennis, if Henry Costa was to run today in Liberia to become senator of Montserrat County, he'll lose big time. He doesn't have it. And Henry Costa is a liability.
Thank you. Wow, that's a lot.
Thank you, Aliyu. We will see. But you tell the government how to chase him, man. Let's see who will win. But let's go to our next caller before we bring in our guests to weigh in. Mr.
Please pin down the number here. Pin down this number.
Mr. Kesali Double, you are live.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Ja. Appreciate you for bringing me on your show.
Thank you. 1 minute.
Oh, wow. We're looking for a big topic. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, the other people.
Thanks to everyone on the show, and I want to appreciate all of you. But I want to go to the Monapena issue. My brother Deep Flow, he made a very big mistake. That was a very big mistake. We in the opposition are criticizing the CDC for doing what they are doing. By condemning our dead, being happy when people die. So for you to have come, on social media to post what you posted when she had passed, I think that was a very big mistake on your part, and I expect you to have apologized instead of holding and fooling and trying to justify. And on the part that had to do with Madame Salif, going to the United Party headquarters, I posted on it before and I will continue to say it. Madame Salif is having something under her sleeves. Madame Salif knows the Liberian politics very well. When Madame Salif traveled on this side, she noticed that it's not balancing for her. She tried to find another strategy. Madame Salif unifying with the United Party is not because she loves the party. Madame Salif has something under her sleeve. And I'm urging all my fellow United Partisans to be very, very careful of Madame Salif. She's Kunney. She's an evil genius. It's just that the way in which Henry Costa sometimes portrays his messages makes it to look terrible, makes it to sound terrible. And I can tell people, Henry Costa might have the popularity right now because people want to listen to his voice, but Henry Costa is not a leader. Henry Costa has a passion. He wants to see change in Liberia. But is Henry Costa a real leader? Can he actually lead? I say no. Having a passion for something you're happy and being able to do it when you are in a position to do it are two different things. He has a passion. He has a voice. He wants to see it happening. But put Henry Costa in his seat and say lead, he won't be able to lead. Take, for example, Henry Costa in his station. He's a fellow that I follow. I love his passion, I can tell you. I love his passion so much to see change in Liberia. But the way in which he approached his issues is wrong. Even in his studio, when you see him someone talking to his voice, that work with him, tells you that Henry Costa cannot be a leader. I love his passion, trust me. And I always want to see him with that passion. And I wish every Liberian has similar passion. But his leadership skills is very poor, and I hope he can improve on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kesali. Let's take two more callers, and then we're going to be going back to our next segment. Caller 8190, that's the last 4-digit. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Victor. I'm calling you from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Victor, you are live?
Yeah, so I'm going to take it from the bottom and then I go to the top. I will do the Muna issue last. 1 minute for me. First of all, Mr. Kunney, Henry Costa participated in the 2017 election. He got involved in 6 months' time, and he came number 4 in the election with 3,287 votes, which amount to 8%. I think that was great, especially for the level of popularity that he had at the time. That's 1. 2. If you tell me that Henry Costa is not popular, then you are simply telling me that the popularity of George Weah is diminishing because they lost this senatorial election in Monserrato to the opposition, which is Senator Darius DeLong. But I don't agree with everything Costa do, but to tell me that Costa does not have a base, I totally disagree with you. But that is our opinion on the matter. Now, to the issue of Madame Sieh, what I can say is, if Madame Sieh could not make Unity Party to win election in 2017, why will Unity Party think that she can make them to win election now that she is not in the presidency? It is impossible. So she is member of the Unity Party. I don't have a problem with her affiliating with her party. She has a right. As a matter of fact, she is a sole founder of that party. So she can go to her party headquarters at any time. It is up to the Unity Party to decide whether they want her back or they don't want her back. It is up to the opposition to decide. Now, Mr. Diplo, I got one question for you. You said you used the word cat on Muna Youngblood pen on the lake because she used it on herself. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. If, for instance, if it were in the case with Senator Darius DeLong, will you have used the word rat on Senator DeLong because Muna used the word rat and cat between she and DeLong? Will you have called DeLong a rat? Will you post it on Facebook that, God forbid, the rat has passed? That's my question to you.
Can I answer that?
You just write your answer down. Let's take our last call.
Right now? Yeah, thank you very much. You have a good night.
I can go ahead and answer right now.
No,
I can go ahead.
No,
wait. Let's take our last caller and then we'll bring you in. Caller 0888, your name and where you calling from?
This is Vanis Leroy Saki, calling from Des Moines, Iowa.
Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment?
Oh, thank you very much. I was forced to call on the show. I'm calling from my COVID-19 bed in my basement. I'm currently quarantined, suffering from COVID-19. But I was just pushed to call and make my contribution. And let me say this.
Brother Vanny, hope you get well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I'm not here to really dwell on what Diplo said, Diplo comment. I'm going to look at the whole thing in totality when it comes to the attitude of the streaming behavior or like brain now when it comes to politics. If you go on my page, you saw that I wrote or how I feel about the way our party is taking Liberia. We're no longer playing politics, but completely hatred. And I think it's time that the president, who has the biggest microphone, to stand up and start to unify the country in what he says, how he conducts the business of the government. Let me say, someone will say, where's the negative about calling people enemy of the state? Let me say this to you. When people label another group of people as enemy of the state, you unify your side in another way to wish evil for the other side. Nobody, let's be very honest. There's a reason why I decided to walk away out of party politics and decided to be an independent. After staying in politics for many decades, I finally realized that to enjoy politics and honestly serve your conscience and country, you must stay away from party politics, because under party politics, you are under a secret political doctrine
that does not allow you to speak the truth. If only the truth will help your party. So you have to say what you will say to please your party. And being living under that doctrine and be a slave for so many years, I've decided that it is time that I walk away from party politics to serve my conscience and country. So we all are guilty of dancing with one thing happening on the other side. And you sometimes I sit and ask myself, where is the hate coming from? Where is the terrible, heartless behavior coming from? Whether it's on the group on the left with dance to celebrate when someone on the left, on the right path aspire, all because of their political ideology. I believe we should never be divided. We should never be divided because of our political differences. No matter how divided we are on issues, we should never wish death for other people just because they disagree or they see things differently. So to Mr. Kunney, when the president of the country say this group of people, look, when I was strongest start to party politics, we came on social media and defended it that was right, that the president labeled other people are enemy of the state. We have to spin it because that's the responsibility when you're under that secret political doctrine. You are under that mandate to turn black into white. And you have to also go against your own conscience just to satisfy your party. But when you label people as enemy, when you tell your children in your home that my neighbors are my enemy, my neighbor children are my enemy, you tell your children grow up with that mindset. They wish to die for your neighbors. They pray when things happen bad for their neighbors. They celebrate because they are died for them. My neighbor, they are our enemy. Nobody wish good for their enemy. So I think it's time for the president to rise above the ocean and start to speak in a way that unify the country. He will not go into everybody's head and tell them how to speak and how to behave. But the microphone should be loud and the message should be unifying the entire country. So that's it. It's sad. If you look, let me be honest with you, Dennis. Sometimes I close my book and decide to ask myself, is it worth it taking student loan to prepare myself to return to a country tomorrow where hatred is taking over the whole land? Can I live in such a society where people will threaten me and turn against me because of my political ideology? It's not worth it. Or should I just look for money, go back home and live an independent life, stay far from politics? Because politics has taken a different dimension to the extent that anyone who decides to get involved into politics in Liberia, people will tell you that you're just risking your life. It's not worth it. But again, certain things tell me in my mind, if we all decide to be afraid and stay away, who's going to build the country that we vision for our children? On my sick bed, I'm scared because you see people even who are suffering. When you stand to talk about a better Liberia, they hate you, they turn against you, they threaten you. They stand and defend their oppressors. Those who are oppressing the economy, they defend and celebrate for them only because they pass by once in a while and get them peanuts while they accumulate so much wealth for what belongs to all of us. Look, it's getting so terrible that sometimes I go back home, I want to ask myself, should I come back here as a politician or should I come back as a businessman, live my private life and stay away from the common? Get the politics that is taking on. Where one side celebrates and dance with the other side, remember the other side died because the other side has different view and we have different view. So I'm just saying it's getting scary. And the leaders of the country will have to change the tone. They will have to the president will have to use the bigger microphone to lower the tension in the country. The way he speaks, he will not have to tell somebody dance. He will not have to tell somebody dance, be happy. But the way you label other people, make your side to be happy when bad things happen on the other side. If my dad told me his neighbor was my enemy, I pray that if someone died for my neighbor, for my dad neighbor, I'm happy because one of our enemies just died. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. If the president labor opposite, so let me go on the next thing to leave you guys. I'm sick, but let me just say to you, I got nothing personal against Ellen Johnson, Selija, and the other guy. But let me tell you, the Liberia we vision for our children will require politicians of modern thinking. We need modern day thinkers. It is sad that in the 21st century, under the new political dispensation, it breaks my heart when Kunney, the DFLO, take on the national debate stage and say Eddie Johnson is trying to dignify and glorify and make Eddie to look there. So win to be politically successful in Liberia, you must align and tie yourself or you must watch it some kind of way to Eddie. Let me tell you, Eddie does not control the vote in Liberia. If he has total control, Robert said he could be senator today. I beg the country, I go to every year and assess the country. Don't let no one fool you. And then time's over. Look, Eddie may have international contact. International partners do not vote in our country. The ordinary Liberians are the one that vote.
Don't start decorating Ellen with so much bigotry and making other feel that the only way you can win something. I think they'll make CDC to win.
Well said, Vanny. Well said, Vanny. Vanny, well said. I mean, I can't help but to allow you to continue, but hey, we have to do justice to the other callers. We're wishing you very well. We're wishing you a very speedy recovery from that COVID-19. We believe here that you're going to defeat it. And when that happens, give us a call here so that we can bring you on for you to share this message that you are sharing. Thank you for participating, Vanny.
I will be very happy. I'll be so happy to come so that I can kill that funny false mindset that to succeed in Liberian body politics, you must be a follower of Mother Eddie Joseph said that's a lie. It's not true, but people are living with that mindset. That's why Ellen continue to be the political Jesus Christ in our political dispensation. That's not true. And young people should stay away from that mindset. You do not need Ellen to win anything in Liberia. You need to build your political capital, build your character to win. And you don't need Ellen. Ellen does not have absolute control over votes in Liberia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanny. We're going to move to our next segment, our final segment. But before we do that, we want to bring in D-Flow to react to the callers. 2 minutes.
Thank you, and I wish my brother Vanny Sagi a speedy recovery.
And D-Flow, before you continue, let me make an
I wish Vanny the best of all. Vanny, we miss you. Yeah.
Before you continue, let me make an announcement here. Folks that are watching us here, we pin a poll at the banner of the live feed. Is an opinion poll that we are conducting here at Focus on Liberia. Is the CPP or opinion poll. Who should be the candidate for the CPP come 2023? Please participate in that poll. At the end of the show or before the end of the show, we'll share the results so that we can know what people are thinking. So we are sampling opinions. That poll is right at the bottom and we pin it. If you look to my name, Ansony Sieh is also there. Please participate right now. It takes a few seconds. Thank you. D-Flow, go for it.
And the CPP will be in the next segment, so please vote.
Yeah, I wish you the best. I wish you a speedy recovery and the best of all. And I know you are strong. You will come out very, very soon, energetic. I know you're tenacity, and I know what you do, what you hope to bring to Liberia, what you bring to.
About the volume, D-Flow. Give us volume.
And to answer the question to the gentleman that said I should talk about the cat and Dillon in the form of a rat. Well, out of no way, a man of my caliber will sit here and give somebody a name that if that person has not called herself or himself that name, I'm not cruel. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. People do that. Dillon is known now as the light. So God forbid something happening to Dillon. Many people will not say Dillon. Most politicians have label, they label themselves. John Weah is a country giant. How many times do I have to repeat that? TDC call him the bio medicine. So all of these things, out of no way, I will have used that word. If Muna Penny did not call herself the cat, out of no way, no personal hate here. I don't hate her. I feel for her because she went through a lot. She took a lot just to see for her to return and serve her district. I didn't do this because of politics. I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. I did it only because she called herself the rat. And you know why? That is what I believe in. It does not matter what the world thinks. It does not matter. I did not invent it, and I stand by my position.
Thank you, D-Flow. Mr. Kunney, you have 59
I just
seconds.
want to, quickly look on the division. I mean, there has been a attempt here to draw into the politics of the country. Basically, my point I'm making here is that politics should end at the point where somebody passes away. We should all mourn our fellow Liberians that pass away. After that, we can return to politics. On the issue of the early relevancy, nobody is saying that for you to be anything in Liberia, you need Ellen. We're simply making the point she's a relevant political factor in the country. Whether she make you or break you is another argument. On the issue of the Costa relevancy, after meeting that the brother is a political hustler. His relevancy is not supported by any empirical data. Nothing. And to just use his bombacity and that his radio can reach so many people, that's not political. Rush Limbaugh got 20 million followers in the United States. He cannot even be elected representative in any American district. So politically, he's not relevant. He may have all these followers. That's the point we're making. Henry Costa has not brought any political goods in. He has not brought anything political, not a revolution, not an idea, not a philosophy, nothing.
Mr. Kunney, we want to move away quickly, but relevance, you don't have to win election. You can sway votes. You can cause people to change. So people that listen to Costa, they believe what he's saying. He's able to move them to action. That's relevance. But let's leave it at that. And
but quickly, we got no record of people that he have moved to even win election. He himself has not won any election.
Oh, have you not heard Cedicens call the Costa show? Man, like my brother, what's his name? What's the guy named Madigo guy? Lolai Kamara, for example. Man like Azava Tupa. I thought most of these citizens, they walk away from the cities.
He has not won any election. He has not led to anything.
Name you call.
Okay, I give it to you.
The name you call, how do you know he's a Mandingo?
Lolai Kamara, I know Lolai Kamara. He's Mandingo.
You know him personally?
Yeah, I know Lolai. I was broadcasting.
Because what I brought this up is we don't want to use people's ethnic group.
Mandingo. I know Lolai Kamara to be Mandingo. I know Lolai.
But D-Flow, the rest of the people you talk about that you know, even Costa, you didn't say who he or what ethnicity he's from.
Call the ethnic group.
You were able to call his tribe. We got to leave that alone.
Costa, he is from Bon Country just like me.
What we are saying, what we want to point you to is you call the other people, you didn't call the ethnic group. Yeah. But when you call like Kamara, you say Mandingo.
Yeah. Because I did that because for the point of the conversation to point his connection, the way he sees.
D-Flow don't justify that. Don't justify that. You call other people, you didn't call their ethnicity, but when it came to Lolai, the first thing that came from your mouth, this Mandingo guy. You could say this brought up, man. Something like that. Sometimes tend to have meaning. Again, folks, in cyberspace, you are watching Focus on Liberia, and we are discussing some national politics here in the house. Wilmot Kunney, a political analyst, focus on Liberia. Some people can say, I can't stand that party, but I love it when he can discuss. Yes, that's why we got him here. He will discuss the issue. And D-Flow, the man, some people like him, some people don't like him. Hey, this is what we do here. We bring all the people together and talk the thing that we are talking about. The CPP and the CDC, CAM 2023. Who
the
you
big
think
you bring? Okay, Mr. Sieh,
you take charge.
CPP and the CDC, a lot of C going on in Liberia there. But when we say, let's start with the CPP. And we got two kinds of CPP, and I hope you have a picture to back that. We have the pre-election CPP,
yes,
and the post-election CPP.
I'm showing that.
So before the election, we had a CPP. We had parties collaborating, and president and the CDC was member of that. Do we have a picture to show?
It's right there on the screen right now. I think the
viewers
are seeing it. Yeah,
that's the pre-election CDC, and that's the post. And we have the post-election CDC. So in the pre-election CDC,
CPP.
I mean CPP. The pre-election CPP, we have Prince Yerube Johnson. We have George Oponwia. We had Charles Walker Bromskin, the late. We have Alexander Benedict Cummings, and we have Benena Ure. All these made up, and of course, Joseph Newman Boakai made up the pre-election CPP. After the election, when the first election or the results were announced, that number slides to 3, and the 3 went to the Supreme Court. What do we expect to see after 2023? After 2017, the 3 stayed together until they formalized themselves into what we know today as the CPP. We saw on tape where they were formalizing an agreement to bind them together as a collaborating party. That document came out. It was chewed up by most people. it was withdrawn, and they said, oh, this was the wrong copy. We're still waiting for that right copy. But Mr. Sieh, before we go into all this, their chances in 2023, what comes to my mind is collaborating as political parties. We saw that before the election and after the election, and what do we expect to see after 2023? CPP. What CPP do we expect to see?
Well, using my political.
Thanks for that question.
Hold on, D-Flow. Let Mr. Sieh come on first.
Oh, I thought you said D-Flow.
D-Flow, let me give it a shot, right? What we usually see politically is the kind of collaboration going into shambles usually before the election and more so after the elections, because the fight for job becomes the order of the day. We've seen that over and over. Like the picture we showed that we even have Prince Yellowboy Johnson, Benny Nairi, Elizana Kunney, Charles Walker Bronsky, and George Opon, we are our president today. That was that team constituted this pre-election CPP. We're talking about 2017. But before that election, we saw what happened. They went their individual ways. The Liberty Party contested independently. The ANC competed in that election independently, and the same way Prince Yellowboy Johnson. It was after the first round, you would think that those people will hold, but they stayed the damn hole. That thing is going to show its ugly face again, because with this CPP that we see, with the likes of Costa bouncing here and there, like the wind is blowing from south to east, and the long time it took them to come to this agreement that they claim they have now, and the competition of who to be the head, we can only fear, I repeat, we can only fear that they may not hold, but if it does hold, maybe after that election, the fight for job will become the case. But immediately after that election, people who were with Joseph Yoman Boaka, we saw that they left the Unity Party and went to CPP. Went to the CDC. Of recent is a lady who could not drink a bottle of soft drink at Jamaica Resort, who explained her ordeal and at some point had issue with the government. Because of political survival today, she joined the CDC. We saw 3 senators joining the CDC for political survival. So this, we see, this CPP, I fear, and I'm telling you, it may not be different from what we saw in the past. That's my take.
D-Flow.
Yes, sir. You know, I like my brother. He has a perfect way of describing all of them here. But let me just give you this.
That guy is good, man.
This CPP, Weho, it's going to have some problems. However, politically, it's going to hold, because there are a lot of good things in the CPP. I'm a supporter of the CPP. I am not a supporter of John Weah and the CDC. Let me make that very clear for those who don't know me. I'm a former CDC. I did not walk to the party. It was the party that walked to me.
Right, but stop talking to D-Flow. Stop talking this thing of being a former city. You were just there for 3 months. People believe you went there to find job. It didn't materialize. And
no, that is why they don't know. You want me to explain the genesis of how I landed in the CDC? We can take the time to do
it. It was for 3 months.
Yeah, but
that was a short time. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I did not walk to the party. I have said that and I have challenged them. But let me just answer my brother's. Let me take a little bit of a look at the CPP and why it is going to hold. There's a lot at stake here. If it does not hold, Liberia as a nation is not moving forward. There will be more protests. There will be more people going hungry. More bad things happening. And look at it. Look at St. John reacting to the presidency. We never saw this in early days, though. Most of the things we see here, we did not see them when Eddie was in power. Let's be real here. Let's be real. It is in this administration that people have to protest to get paid. It is in this administration that health workers have to go stand with placard in their hands before they say your check will be ready in 2 days. It is in this administration. But to answer your question, the CPP brings a lot to our emerging democracy, to how we move forward. And this is one of the reasons. They are going to win the election for a number of reasons. One, if you look at the number that Joseph Yimambuakai polled during the 2017 election, if you go to the Election Commission website, you look at the number that Mr. Cummings came with, you look at the number that Charles Watkins Brodsky polled with, and then, all in all, divide the country into 6 electoral districts, which I refer to as the B6. The B6 are Masurado, Bassa, Magibi, Bon, Nimba, Lofa County. The B6. Anybody who wins, you need to win 4 out of the B6 in order to win the presidency clear out. If you win 4 out of the B6, let's say if the CPP wins Masurado, which is going to happen, George Weah has lost. George Weah's popularity in Masurado is no longer a questionable. It's no longer anything for us to think about. I don't care who they bring to the table. ADD will win Masurado. For that, we know that for a fact. They can do all they want. So you need to, the CPP is relevant. And what I do know, this is going to work. The only reason why, if it does, the only person that can break that CPP like Ellen Johnson, when you hear CDC talking about, oh, you don't need Ellen, it's strategic. They know what Ellen brings to the table. They know what Ellen brings to the table. So they want, for CPP, people like Costa and all of the people that say, Ellen is a wicked woman. She's evil. She might not be around the party. A play tool, a place in their interest. So for them, when the other side rejects Ellen, they say, "Man, Ellen can't hear. You know that here you be here. Can't hear. They don't crazy people. They don't know politics." That is why you see most of the citizens now they're on Facebook. We're talking here. They're writing all the things. Oh, Ellie is not relevant. Ellie is relevant. Ellie will maintain the CPP. Ellie will be the reason why George Opon Weah will not be in the second round of an election in Liberia. In fact, there will not be second round.
Mr. Kunney.
I'm
telling you, I'll be honest.
Some of these things are very comical, but let me just pick up on a few points from Ansony and to what my brother said. When it comes to, before I go to Ansony, when it comes to the relevancy of the CPP, I'm one of the critics of the CPP, not because I dislike the people that are in the opposition, but like I always say, I believe that the opposition should create an alternative. There is nothing about the CCP that is inspirational. There is nothing that is aspirational. The whole foundation of the CCP is just job distribution. The coalition not gonna hold. You don't need a rocket scientist to know. Look at how they are approaching the senatorial elections. The candidates that are standing in the senatorial elections. The last time I checked, Edith Bungalow should be part of the CPP. But the candidates in Nimba County are divided. We have that one way that is going to emerge or thinking about emerging as a candidate in Nimba. You got Edith. So it's not even holding that. Look in Bon County. What is the most recognizable name in the CCP from Bon County? Jeremiah Salonte. He's not running on the CCP ticket. He's thinking about going independent. And it's all over the country. The coalition is not, the CCP is now holding right now. CPP. The CPP is down holding right now. And the only reason why it is down holding right now is that the very foundation is flawed. It's flawed on 2 major things. The current government is bad. We just need to change that government so we can get there and divide jobs. I've made this observation. It is not addressing any major national issue. It's not rallying Liberians around any any aspirational issue. Look, when the Democrats wanted to win back the House, they were able to articulate to the American people the issues that matter to the American people. The CCP has no political message. The only message is the current government is corrupt. The current government is bad. Let's change the government. That's the message we've been hearing all and on. What is the CCP's message with regard to the infrastructure need of the country? with regard to the agricultural needs of the country. Is there anybody drawing a picture of a Liberian that other Liberian will see and say, oh, this is the Liberia that I aspire to be to? It's all about jobs. It's all about jobs. And so the CCP is not holding right now. It's not holding. It will not hold 2023. They will fall apart on who emerges as the standard bearer. The VPS is going to be in conflict with the convention. All of these smart guys will come up with different theories that will break that thing apart. Now, on the point I wanted to make to about Sonny, he talked about political survivorship. You know, look, our country is in a democracy. Party will lose strength, party will gain strength. When the CDC is gaining strength, people say that political survivorship. I mean, what is politically threatening to 3 senators that are already in the Senate? What could be politically threatening to them? I want to believe they are attracted to the CDC because they find the CDC to be, you know, the party that share their views. You know, when people cross over to the opposition, we celebrate. But when they cross over to the CDC, that's survivorship. So we got to stay clear of these kind of things. I want to believe at this point, given the picture that people have painted of the CDC, I think it is the CDC that's supposed to be losing elected officials rather than elected officials from other institutions being attracted to it. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. Yeah.
Mr. Kunney, I see that most of your views here favor the CDC or the government. What's your relationship to the CDC? Are you?
Then thanks for that question, and I got one more for him.
Look, I'm just analyzing the political situation in the country, and those are facts. When people leave, when other politicians join other political parties, they are celebrated. When Yeke Koluba crossed over to the ANC, nobody accused Yeke of survivorship. But when other politicians are leaving their political entity and crossing over to the CDC, people call it survivorship. I'm just being analytical.
You know, you know as much as I know that the government has the cake, right? So, and it's not just during this administration. We saw that during the administration of President Doe. When we saw that, that's the first time I heard the name, the cross carpet. We saw that when Oscar Jaikuya and the other people, they cross carpet. So people keep crossing carpet. During Ellen time, I think CDC started with the highest, the majority. In fact, they produced the speaker. In no time, they became the minority. So it has been a pattern. Why are you trying to down people
Mr.
go to the
before you come in, if you don't mind, Mr. Kunney, before you come in, look, survivorship is survivorship, and it doesn't matter where one goes for survival. Once the intent of cross-carpeting is for a survivor, it remains a survivor. Survivor does not disappear because one goes to the west or one goes to the south or east. So to say that when one goes to the party, it might be survivorship, and maybe when one goes to the opposition party, it's not survivorship. I don't think that is the case. Even people who may decide to join the CPP right now, it is because they want to survive politically tomorrow, because they see the tides gradually tilting politically. So a smart politician must say, the CDC is losing popularity. In order for me to survive in the next political climate or change, I might go, or I should go to the CPP so that I can survive. So it doesn't matter where one goes, in as much as the person is doing it to either protect or secure what they have politically, it remains political survival. And my question is, Mr. Kunney, I like your analysis.
You didn't answer my question.
I disagree with some of your analysis, but here's the thing.
Give me a question.
Your analysis clearly are tailored in favor of the government. So I will bring back this question. Are you sympathetic to the government, or are you supporting the government, or are you an undercover partisan of the CDC? Your turn.
Well, listen.
And that's a political data ball for you.
My role here my role here is to my role here is to be an analyst, and I'm analyzing the scenarios, and I'm throwing these things out. I've said many times the CCP does not have a rallying vision for the Liberian people. No one has shown me that vision. The only document that came here was a document as to who will be minister when the CPP wins. You know, that's it. Come here. Let me answer
no,
the
I just want to add to
comment.
it before you end, because there's a comment here from Kalibo Gonglo. You want about your partisanship. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
He said,
we're in the same party.
He said, not true, Wilmot. You told me before that you are a member of the CDC. That's from Kalebo Gonglo.
But Kalebo wrong because you myself who are members of the Liberian People's Party. I'm still a registered member of the Liberian People's Party. So maybe maybe he didn't hear me right. But the point is, when I come here, we are here to analyze the issue.
Yeah.
I'm stating that the CCP has now produced a governing a philosophy for the country that is different from what is occurring. And I'm also saying that when politicians cross over to the CDC, we call it survivorship. But when they go to other political parties, they are celebrated. It's just an analytical point. I don't think it's me speaking for the CDC. And I'm saying all of the people have made all these dire predictions about the CDC. And as an analyst, I'm finding it difficult to understand why would people be leaving their political party to be joining a dying breed? I thought they're supposed to be fleeing from that dying breed. All these things are analytical.
Thank you, Mr. Kunney. And that's why we brought you here to be analytical, but we still can ask you the question about your partisanship. D-Flow.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kunney is member of the LPP, he said.
Mr. Kunney is not a member of it. He might be holding a membership in a party, but I don't believe from logically looking at his analysis, I think that's not true. But I will accept for the value, but for the politics, with my experience, I doubt it. But let me just remind Mr. Kunney, you talk about NIMBA, you talk about Bunkani, you talk about what is your party? Well, you have not discussed anything about the CDC when it comes to a couple of counties, right? In Nima County, you talk about Jeremiah Kuhn. Who is the CDC candidate?
I don't know because I don't know.
Well, let me just tell you that because you don't know. CDC will not be putting a candidate in Nima because CDC does not have any outright vote in Nima. The only reason
how does that invalidate my argument? I don't know. How does that invalidate my argument that the CCP is fracturing in the number of counties? You're talking about the CPP. I'm not talking about CDC.
Yeah, you're talking about the CPP, but then of course your analysis is on one side, not on both sides. You are supposed to analyze based on both sides. But let me help you. Let me give you a little bit of analysis that I know.
We have not reached to the CDC. We've been asked to talk about the CPP. We have not reached to the CDC. The section has CPP and CDC.
Okay, let me say we're talking about a CPP. Let me set the record straight for you. I do know that in Nima County, talk about Ida Gongro in Nimba. You talk about Ta Wombe. Let me just increase the volume for you. You talk about Adolphus Dodo. Let me increase the volume for you and talk about the former superintendent of Nimba County will also be in the race. But when you talk about a CPP, Nimba politics is quite different. The Giyo are in the majority. The minority are the minor. So when you look at the county, they are in the majority. So they always decide to carry one person. Jeremiah Kuhn is not a Nimbadian, but he's a businessman in Nimba. He has a political capital in Nimba. So when you look at the CPP in Nimba, they are going to choose somebody that will go in there. But I do know for a fact, the CPP has a greater challenge in Nimba because of Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. No other person is going to win other than the person that Senator Johnson is supporting in Nimba County. So if you look at it from that point, I think the CPP will have some trouble in Nimba. But let's quickly draft Fast forward to Bonkante, say we are discussing CPP. CPP will win Bonkante, will Prince Moyi on the ballot. Henry Yara will not win. CDC is now putting a candidate in Bonkante. CDC is now putting a candidate in Bonkante. CPP will be supporting if candidate will be Prince Moyi, and Prince Moyi has done well in Bonkante, speaking as a Bongi. Speaking for the fact that my mom from Bokonima, I know very well that the CPP will win Bonkante. Drive quickly to Bombing County.
Or D-Flow staying with Bomb County.
But listen, before you come in, look, D-Flow is making my point. A high-profile individual in the CCP, Jeremiah Solonte, was the vice presidential candidate of the ANC. He is a candidate in Bomb County. He's telling me now, he's confirming that the CCP will have a candidate in Bon County other than Mr. Solonte.
But Mr. Solonte,
excuse me, that is telling me that the coalition is now holding together.
No, Mr. Solonte betrayed. Mr. Solonte betrayed Unity Party when he supported TDC.
Okay, D-Flow, you mentioned about Nima, and you said Jeremiah Kuhn is not from Nima County, is a businessman there. That's not true. Jeremiah Kuhn, mom is from Nima. He was born and raised in Nima County. He's been there all his life. What do you mean he's not from Nima?
Well, but I do know some people very close to Nima, Nimalians, who have said to me that Jeremiah Kuhn is seen as an alien, is a foreigner, or is a political hustler in Nima.
That's what I'm telling you.
D-Flow just like the ethnicity thing. I don't know why.
I'm a journalist.
Seriously. The man representing Nima candidate, he said the man I'm from Nima.
The man is not from Nima. That's why I can
where is he from? Right now. Where is he from?
And so, Mr. Cummings, you made a comment. Mr. Kunney, you said that the fact that Jeremiah Solonte is running in this race, and the CPP is more like thinking about somebody other than Jeremiah Solonte, suggests that the CPP will not hold. Well, I'm not here to defend the CPP. I wish they were doing something better. I know that they're trying to like allot counties to some parties that, hey, you contest there. I think politically it's doable, but I just having to question the process because nothing has been communicated. Maybe they have communicated that within their ranks. But my point here is that to say that because it is not Jeremiah Solonte for a CPP, that means the CPP will not hold. I think that is so weak because, I mean, if they decide to have a primary, if Jeremiah Solonte does not become the candidate, that means the CPP will not hold. You can't use that as a yardstick or to do that. But D-Flow to you, right? We interview...
No, but quickly. Right. Ansony, we are here to analyze. And the way we analyze is the information that is available to us. Ambassador Solonte is a prominent member of the ANC.
Yeah.
And you hear D-Flow, who claims to be a prominent member of the CCP, accusing Mr. Solonte of a betrayal.
I am not a member of the CPP. He
said he wouldn't support the CPP.
Okay, he's a vocal supporter of the CPP.
Yes.
Accusing the renowned ambassador as a betrayer, and that they are going to be another candidate. So we are analyzing, we're looking at those things. The CCP may not hold in Bon.
But what has he done in Bon County? What has he done in Bon County?
It's not my question.
We are not taking a stranger to our hometown.
It's not my question. What I'm telling you, the evidence
Mr. Kunney, the fact that Momba Molu came up with that liquor talk, can we say that the CDC is not holding because of that liquor talk?
But was he talking about the code? Was he talking about the code about the unity?
But
this is not liquor talk. I'm not talking about liquor talk. I'm telling you clear political fights that are emerging.
You were making reference to because D-Flow said Jeremiah Solonte was a betrayer. So on that basis, the CPP will not. So I'm asking the same question. this was Mamba Monu with Liquor Talk, and now we have Jemima Wolo Colley with this accusation. So I mean the CDC
let's
is
take
not
the
going to
liquor.
hold.
Let's take the liquor talk. I'm
Okay,
giving you the
Mr.
clear
Mr.
facts.
Mr.
The
Kunney,
clear facts of the
Mr.
candidates
Kunney,
that are emerging in Bond County.
Mr. Kunney,
Tells you that the CPP now holding there.
all right, hold that thought. We're going to go to the CDC, their chances in 2023. We talked enough about the CPP.
And Mr. Jan, before we go down, let's share the opinion pool quickly on the screen to see how the CPP people thinking right now in terms of their candidate. That was the segment we were on. So it's on the screen right now, and Mr. Ja, if you can see it, then you can read the results if you can, or I can do that. All right, let me read the result. This is a focus on Liberia opinion pool. We asked the question, who is your choice for the CPP 2023 presidential candidate? We have A for Joseph Yimambuaka and C for Elizana Cumming. Again, here we are talking about the presidential candidate, the person to be at the head of the ticket.
You A, B, and C. Call all the three options. You say A and C.
Oh, okay. A and B. So we have two options. A, Joseph Yimambuaka, and C, Elizana Cummings. In this opinion poll, we reduce it to two persons for people who support the CPP and members of the CPP to make a decision. In this opinion poll, and that's why we asked you earlier for you to participate, only 88% participated in the opinion poll. And so if you have not done so, please do so. We will bring the updated result in the broadcast. So right now, according to the result that we have 52.3% saying Joseph Yimambuaka is their choice for the CPP presidential candidate, whereas 47.7% saying Mr. Elizana Benedict Cummings is their candidate for the CPP presidency to come. That is what we have for you, Mr. Jab.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing some hot button politics here on Focus on Liberia. Our guest, Mr. Flomo, who's also in talk of a partnership here with Focus on Liberia. And of course, we have our analyst, Mr. Wilmot Kunney. He's taking some lashes tonight, has been as his analysis favoring.
I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him a little bit, just a little bit. I wouldn't even appreciate you to show face.
So at this time now, and Mr. Kalebo Gonglo, Mr. Kunney Kalebo is coming for you. He's looking for the number to call. He really believed from his comment that you are not honest. So let me read a few comments and then we go to our next, which is the CDC. We want to analyze their chances also into the 2023 election. Kalebo said, Mr. Kunney, you are not being truthful. You told me that you were never a member of the LPP right on Lindbergh Boulevard football field. It's very specific where you said this, Mr. Kunney.
No, that man comment. That man comment. I was Secretary General of LPP USA.
Wait. Let me finish with our comments. Ferguson 1 year said, D-Flow, stop the lies. Jeremiah Kun is a Nimbayan. His mother is a raw Gio woman. Stop lying. Jeremiah was born and raised in Nimba and knows nowhere besides Nimba. That's Eugene Mensah. And then also Jimmy Eastman, good observation, Ansony. If political survival is what is driving politicians, then our politicians lack the integrity to lead. James Coy Charlotte, this man has always been unfair. He's a sedition. Mr. Kunney, that's you, I suppose.
He's getting some latches tonight.
He's getting it.
So you are excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm a grassrooter.
And
grassroots.
That political latches, and you are a politician, so sometimes politicians get that.
Pape Jaden says CPP is coming together because we is not their man. Greer Jr., I think you are getting mad right now, D-Flow. CDC unstoppable. Alberto Davis, Nemo, anyone who thinks that Costa is irrelevant and cannot effect votes change in Liberia is living under a rock. Vani Saki, the president, has to always keep his focus on unifying the country, no matter how the folks on the other side conduct themselves. When you are a leader, you have the biggest responsibility to unite the country. Nathan M. Blair, trouble isn't taking place here again in the things that brought the war. Okay. Telco speaking some Liberian English here. I've been in America now, so my series, I can read in Liberian. Okay, folks, we are back. Let's go to the CDC and assess their chances. They say if you want to look at Christmas, if you want to see how Christmas look like, look at the Eve. Mr. Kunney, CDC lost to Darius DeLong in Maserado, their strongest hold. CDC did not contest in Grand Cape Mount County. How do we look at their chances 2023?
The loss in Maserado County was a devastating blow to the CDC. There is no way to spin it. You cannot spin that. The fact that the party did not feel a candidate in Grand Cape Mount County was also another signal. But I think right now the party is coming together. They're doing everything that they can do to reclaim their birthplace, political birthplace. Also, one of the senators that joined the CDC recently is a senator from Cape Mount County. So the CDC is making a presence in Cape Mount County. And I mean, from my analytical point, the CDC is poised to win the midterm election, to win significant seats in the Senate in the midterm election, solely due to the weakness of the CCP, the flawed nature of the CCP, the lack of vision, lack of message, the clash in candidates. The CDC has been disciplined in the recruitment process of the candidates, and I see the CDC winning most senatorial seats in the midterm election. But I say this, no matter what seats they win, if they falter in Maserado County, it would be a political red flag. So I think, if they falter in Maserado County, it would be a political red flag for the party. And I think that would be something that the party will try to really look at. But I think overall, they will make significant gains in the senatorial election.
Mr. Kunney, let's look at the so-called liquor talk, which represented some form of friction, or presented that friction, or represented some fracture in the CDC. And quite recently, we saw the defection or the firing of Wolo Colley, who also went on the media spree to kind of say things that look like things are cracking in the CDC.
Yeah, but look, listen, my brother Vani, who I respect very much, Vani, if you listen to me, I hope you recover from the COVID. Vani said it clearly. Look, when you belong to an institution, there is the expectation that you will abide by the rules of the institution. That's part of your responsibility. So you cannot be a member of a political party and you take issues of the party outside of the party. If you want to be a candidate within the party, there is a primary system. But for you to go to begin to demonize the primary process before it even occurs, I think that was a political malfeasance on her part. And every party has rules. Every party has rules. You enjoy the privileges and you enjoy the obligation that is imposed upon you. Now, if you don't believe in any of those things, political parties, they are organizations that is based on free will association. If the party does not reflect your view, all you can do is to leave the party. But you can be in the party and go against the rules of the party, and you expect the party to clap for you. It doesn't work that way.
D-Flow, let's look at CDC 2023 and even before that, the midterm.
This party that I supported for 3 months has lost its position in Maserado, the metropolitan, the place where we call the political hub of the republic. CDC will now regain Maserati. A number of reasons here. George Weah, as a leader, has not been able to hold the party together. He has not been able to bring citizens who believe that they deserve to be in government, like men like Barney Saki, who comes from the LPDP, that is member of the CDC. George Weah has alienated a lot of people on the other side, including the MPP. John Weah focuses more on the Congress for Democratic Change than the Congress for the Coalition for Democratic Change. And those two institutions, the Congress for Democratic Change, the Coalition for Democratic Change, when you blend things, you bring things together, you cannot go back and say, I'm going back to the Congress for Democratic Change. You got to work with the Coalition for Democratic Change. You got to spread jobs. Your jobs will be given to people based on qualification. But in the case of where we are in Maserati, if you look at, let me just clear this. Mr. Kunney said that Barney Saki said, oh, you have to cooperate with the party. That is not what Barney Saki said. Let me remind you, Barney Saki resigned from the CDC because he said, and I quote, party doctrine and party discipline. Meaning, you are not allowed to speak, even when the wrong is happening under your feet. Barney left the party because the doctrine of the party says you are to keep quiet when John Weah is doing the wrong things. You are not to speak out to tell him, Mr. President, this is wrong. This is not what we envision. This is not what we put our integrity on the line for. So you were wrong to say that. Let me just correct that. But then you go to Maserati. Again, George Weah, historically, no ruling party has ever won Maserati. Let's go back 1985. History tells me that any won an election in an opposition position, on the opposition ticket. Samia Joe was president at the time. Drive forward. You go back to 2005. CDC won Maserati through Jawani Doseri, right? First it was Hannah. It was CDC that won. It was not the ruling party, UP, that won. Fast forward. George Weah won 2014 as an opposition. It was not the UP that won. Fast forward. Thomas, what's his name? The GB, Sir Joseph, the GB, won as an opposition at the time. CDC had just taken position. So the leverage, the die water, the political hit was still on Unity Party. Fast forward. A.B. Darius Delon won Maserati as an opposition. No certain party has ever won Maserati. It is historical. Because the people in Maserati, they feel politics, they see how politicians lie, they see how politicians behave when they're in opposition, so they try the other side. So you are wrong. Unity Party, the CPP will win Maserati. You can go ahead and do all you want. You can cheat. If you want. But let me just remind you, my history tells me in Liberia today, for you to cheat in election is very difficult. Every polling center has somebody there with a cell phone. When the tally sheet has been counted and put on the wall, you do not have to wait for NEC to give you results. Radio stations will begin to announce results right off the bat, throughout the country. I was in Liberia 2017. I'm a witness.
Okay.
But let me quickly make a point, though.
Mr. Kunney, just so you make the point, we are about to end the show. So go ahead.
Yeah, but let me quickly make a point. Because, the brothers, look, what is spectacular is sometimes the fantasy that is in the CPP. They go to all these statistics about the 2017 election. Oh, this group, this is the percentage that the CDC won. And as if to say, he might be static. People not static. You looking at 2017 statistics. The brother is also giving wrong information here that no ruling party at one Maserati candidate. The NDP at one Maserati, Archibald Bona won Maserati candidate 1985. So I mean, they can base their hope on these things. When people don't have solid political work, they put their fingers in these things. That's the point I'm making. You basing your hope on the fact that this thing has never been done. This thing has never been done. I concede that Monserrato County is very much important to the CDC. They will have to work to win it, but that doesn't mean that they cannot win it. You know, so you know, we have to really the last point I want to make. You talk about cheating again. This is where we have a responsibility to our country. You know, for people crying foul when they lose an election to put it to cheating. Like you said, he was in Liberia 2017. I was in Liberia 2017 as the head of the EULA Observer Mission to Liberia. I can state to you clearly the process that I saw. There is no way that somebody can cheat in a Liberian election today.
But I said the same thing. It's difficult.
Yeah, but then what do you measure cheating?
No, I said it's difficult to cheat.
Thank you, Mr. Kunney. The two of you agree again on that one.
Yeah, but you shouldn't mention cheating because that's how we inflame the public. If you lose that election,
he said it's difficult. He said it's difficult for cheating to take place. So if anybody want to cheat, they have to cheat way before the polls, but not on the polls. Mr. Ansony, I think we should end it. But this is one big announcement I want to make. This July 26th, Focus on Liberia will be having a virtual July 26th or Independence Day program under the theme, Reassessing Liberia's Independence. Based on that theme, we're going to have about 8 to 10 speakers, short speakers. They each will be giving 5-minute speech, and they will be talking about, are we really independent when it comes to, number one, governance? That will be the speech for 5 minutes from one of our guests. 2, when it comes to the economy, rule of law, infrastructure, health and wellness, and the list go on and on. So we're going to have these speakers. And Focus on Liberia have selected Dr. Patricia Jabet Wesley, a Liberian poet, as this year's national orator. So on this program also, we're going to be running some ads. So if you are interested in having your ad, because this is a global virtual Independence Day program, we're going to be having some Liberian artists performing as well. We'll have some other Liberians taking part in the program. And as we talk, the polls is still increasing. So if you have your advertisement that you want us to stream during this live program, please send that email to focusonliberia@gmail.com, inbox us, or give us a call. Mr. Ansony, back to you.
Mr. Jah, thank you. And you already read that Focus on Liberia will be having a virtual July 26 celebration on July 26 live here at Focus on Liberia. I don't know, am I your favorite guy here? I will be right here. Kunney, no, he's not coming. Hey, I don't know that yet. He always finds a way here. D-Flow, I don't know. Maybe he will find a way here. But the good news is that because of COVID-19, everything is being done virtually. So Focus on Liberia has decided to carry on this virtual July 26 program. Then they said it, and I will emphasize the theme, Reassessing Liberia's Independence. We have speakers on the economy. We have speakers on multiple topics to assess our independence. Are we independent in the true sense of independence? You don't want to miss it. The speakers will propound, and you will agree or disagree. Here at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, we promote all things Liberia, and that is why we will be doing, because we want to see that beautiful country rise. But right now, I'm still dreaming about it. Dennis is still hoping about it. Kunney is praying. I don't know what D-Flow is doing. Maybe he's arguing about it. Back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. A few more comments before. Let me start from the bottom. Ferguson, one year said, thanks a lot, Mr. Kunney. Junior Gibson said, buyers show. Tavina Ko said, I disagree, Pape. It has to mention regardless. Cheating will be attempted. The Liberian sexual and gender-based violence movement, girl, coming your way soon. Paul Pa Jebo, my brother, stop wasting your time, old man. ADD will beat CDC without mercy. The CPP will win Maserati County. Sam Wallow, the minute someone starts saying they cannot lose unless they are cheated, they lose credibility. Eugene Manson, you stop the too much talking and help Dillon to maintain his vote. He is sitting there and you fooling him and he's not making efforts. Sandra Yankun, good insight. Toga Bayo, why you keep calling George Weah name and can't focus on CDC party policies? James Keller will see if the opposition will win any seat. Having D-Flow and Ansony together, you're really making it juicy. That's telco again. Mr. Sieh, they like for you to make it juicy. Keep making it juicy. And
I'll also be giving some political bitter ball. Somebody is getting some latches tonight and some bitter balls.
He's pushing the old man to go to sleep early.
So on that note, Mr. Gonglo, we wanted you to call, but you didn't answer. We want to end it here. Gentlemen, we are closing. We cover a lot of grounds. We started with this politics of denigrating and bashing the dead. We talked about President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf interaction with journalist Good Day Flomo, and also what else she's still, and also Henry Pedro Costa outburst calling Ellen Johnson names. We also talk about the CPP and the CDC, looking into our political crystal ball for 2023. With all that, we want you to just give us your final and closing statement, gentlemen. Let's start with D-Flow Flomo.
Thanks again. Thanks
and D-Flow, because you spell Mona, you said cat.
As on the other side of politics, that's why the fact that we don't agree on a lot of things, but I like most of his take on national issues. That's why we disagree on a whole lot. And I want to take this moment to say on behalf of all of us with Liberia debaters, our condolences to the bereaved family of the late Bonaparte of District Number 9 and to the CDC. However, my position remains the same. The cat is dead. This is what I have to say, and to say it loud. And lend me your ears. Those of you in the CDC that are paying people to kill me, Class D, and the rest of the other people, that my job has said that I should not mention their names, I should not say it. I want to say, be very clear to you. I am not taking this lightly. I am not going lightly. I have gone to the police in my city. My job is aware of this. They have said just leave it like that. Investigation is taking place. I want you to know, I did not invent the name. The cat is dead. I did not invent the name the cat. I was nowhere in disrespectful or condescending towards her. No personal malice, no antipathy against her. I spoke as an individual. I wrote, and I take full responsibility of that ready.
Thank you. Mr. Kunney.
Yeah, Dennis, again, thank you for the platform. I think the issues were insightful, but again, I maintain that it is our responsibility as leaders, as opinion leaders, as journalists, to contribute to a much more civil discourse in our country. The bombastic languages are people who don't have anything, any solid thing to show. So the bombacity bring us to immediate notification. We should get away from that because there are serious political work to be done in our country. Our country need to be transformed. We need to build Liberia. But even more so, we should also always maintain our humanity. In this political battlefield, when one of our friends, even our opponent, pass away, let us show our humanity. Let us not diminish. Let us not diminish the passing of a Liberian on ground of political opposition. I think it's wrong. I disagree with D-Flow on what he did and what he said. He's a journalist. I think when journalists are making reference to officials, especially for such a breaking news, it should be done with their official title and their official name. It's not like the person is living and you joking about the person. That's a different thing. But he's entitled to his views. But the only thing I disagree with him, he's not the only one that can define his views. When you put your views out there, other people there, they have their own interpretation of your views. So we have to lower the temperature in our country, and then we have to put our country first, because the politics will go away, but Liberia will still remain. Thank you.
And we have fresh update on the opinion poll. In your view, who should be the candidate or head the CPP ticket? We have Joseph Newman Boakai with 53.2% and Alexander Benedict Cummings, my man from right here in Atlanta, 46.8%. Ansony.
Thank you, Mr. Jai. And so, folks in cyberspace, this is how we will come to the end of this broadcast. We appreciate you for spending almost 3 hours with us here as we went into these various topics. We hope we did not disappoint you in breaking down these things as they happen in our country. Here at Focus on Liberia, our goal has always been to educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. You saw it today with the diversity of views on the issue. I disagree with Kunney. Kunney and Diflo disagree. Dennis has their own disagreement with Mr. Kunney sometimes. That's how it should be. We laugh about it. Hey, can we do that for Liberian people? Can we? Amen. I think we can do it. On that note, I'm Ansony Sieh saying to you that virus is still real, but I'll turn it over to Dennis while I wait for him.
Oh yeah, that Prince just came on though. Prince, can
Mason,
we do this tomorrow?
Dennis.
On that note, we want to say thank you. Join us tomorrow. We're going to be having a national conversation on changing the name Monrovia. Some say it should go to Ducor. Last Sunday, we had a group say, let's change the name. This Sunday, another group said, not so fast. So join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. I will be there, and Mr. Sieh will also be there. On that note, on behalf of all of us here at Focus on Liberia, we say good night and God bless you.
Thank you.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia.